coming. My name is Dr. Osmanagich, and this is our Bosnian Pyramid Summer Solstice Tour Conference and Festival 2025. This is the first presentation of the conference, and that will be, of course, mine. Today is June 16, 2025, and there is no picture.
Just press the button on your computer.
Which one, Valery?
Any.
Have a click.
Is your laptop off? Switch off.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for moving the crowd upside. Just when you think it's you guys got a great view of the screen from I'll just shout it out. I'll shout it what I see. Rocks.
Yeah, I'm here.
Had a health issue, said that you had a
Guarda, sulla Cina è molto lunga, di solito che era la giro che non si parcheggia, si però si
Okay, let's start again. Can you see the screen from there? Yes? No? All right, so welcome to the Bosnian Pyramid Summer Solstice Tour Conference and Festival 2025. Exactly. This conference is mostly about the pyramids. I've been researching pyramids for the last 40 years, and I have concluded that almost everything they teach us about the ancient history, pyramids and megalithic sites is wrong. The origin of man, civilizations, pyramids, They program us in the school that pyramids are built in Egypt and Mesoamerica, and that's wrong. They are built on all 6 continents. They program us to think that Egyptian pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, and that's wrong again. In Egypt there are not 118 pyramids as non-scientific Wikipedia claims, but 155. That's how many I visited and investigated. No mummies. The pharaohs have been buried, but in the Valley of Kings, which is 600 kilometers to the south, in Thebes and Memphis and Abydos and Dendera. So in 21st century we need to use science, not the bedtime stories by Egyptologists and archaeologists, to answer the major questions. Who really built the pyramids? When? How? And of course, why? Egyptologists, historians, and of course behind them the British elites tried to convince us that this was the first pyramid on Egyptian soil, the famous step pyramid in Saqqara, built 4,600 years ago. Wrong. This was not the first one, and this one was not built from very simple mastaba. And then they're telling us that Pharaoh Sneferu built not 1, but 3 pyramids. You know how they are telling us that the Pharaoh Khufu, or Cheops, from the 4th Egyptian dynasty, that it took him 20 years to build the Great Pyramid of Egypt. And now Pharaoh Sneferu built not 1, but 3 during his lifetime. This is the famous bent pyramid in Dakhshur. Huge, immense construction. But no mummies, no sarcophagus, no proofs who really built it. And the story by Egyptologists is he was not happy with this one, so he built another one. They do not understand why this pyramid is bent, why it changes the angle. Zaki Havas and circle around him is claiming that's because this pyramid was not structurally stable, and in the middle of this construction feat they changed the angle 43 and 54 degrees. Now imagine, the builders were so smart, they were genius, they were in front of us, and they made such a major mistake. You know, in our ego we think that we are the only civilization who has the feeling for the geological time. Thousands of years, millions of years, even billions of years. Because all others, like original people of the land in America, in Australia, in New Zealand, you know, they know generations, 2 generations, 5 generations, 100 years, 200 years. But we are not the first one. Between 4 and 5 billion years old, 13 billion. Astronomers are saying that our universe is between 12 and 15 billion years old. Did they know that thousands of years before us? I mentioned Mayan symbols. Now, symbolic writing is very important because symbol has a meaning. What we use today are letters, alphabet. Letters, A, B, C, they don't have meaning. Only when you put 5 or 10 letters together, you get a word, and the word has a meaning. They are much smarter. Every symbol has a meaning. And not only that, when they have 2 symbols, one next to each other, those symbols communicate, creating synergy and new meaning. And the Mayans meaning, that one has a meaning and so on. But between them, a new meaning arises. And not only that, first row and second row, they communicate also. And that's not all. First row and second row, diagonally, they communicate. In order to understand what I wanted to say here, you have to be very, very, very educated person. What is the reason that we cannot decipher 3/4 of their symbols? Now look at them. Look at this guy here. Does it remind you on any beings on this planet? I don't think so. Look at the skull here. Does not belong to any being on this planet. So how can we decipher what this guy represents here when we never met such species? We will never decipher Mayan writings completely, because it is the combination of some of our earthly symbols and cosmic symbols. South America, Cavachi Pyramids, 50 kilometers from famous Nazca Line. 3 pyramids were uncovered recently by Italian archaeologists, and dozens of pyramids more were uncovered. Who built this city of pyramids? We do not know. Peruvian history, officially 2,500 years old. These pyramids, more than 5,000, easy. We don't know the real builders. So when archaeologists do not know, they start making things up. They are saying, oh, it was Nazca culture. We go to the north of Peru, to Cume pyramids. More than 200 of them. This one is called the Pyramid of the Sun. Starts from here, goes there, and here. It's in a bad shape. We can see signs of this vertical erosions. But if you start clearing at the base, like we can see on this photo, after half a meter of desert sand, we're going to start finding the walls. Those walls were built from the adobe bricks. Even today, this is major construction material in Peru. What you do, you take desert sand, clay, water, put it in the mold, under the sun, 25 days, and you are getting construction material. Now, the vertical erosion, obviously, it was not made by wind, but by rain, prolonged rain, by storms. Interesting thing, in the last 8,000 years, in the northern Peru, is the same climate. No rain, sunny, dry. What does that mean? When did we have those rains? 8,000, 12,000, and when the pyramids were built? Even before that. So what happened to Peruvian historians and their stories about their history being only 2,500 years old? Something's wrong, we need to change that. Pyramids are bringing a lot of troubles to the official historians. And now we are coming to the major and the largest pyramid in South America. It's called the Pyramid of the Sun, Huaca del Sol, across Huaca de la Luna, the Pyramid of the Moon. What we see today is just 1/3 of the original structure, and yet is the biggest in South America. It matches approximately 5 football stadiums. Why am I saying 1/3? When the Spaniards came in the 16th century, 1520s, they had only one thing on their mind, and that is to steal the treasure from Peru. When they came to this pyramid, they wanted to get somehow inside. They did not know how, so what they did, they moved the riverbed of River Moche, and the water washed away about 2/3 of the structure. So much about our developed European cultures. Acapena Pyramid in Bolivia, not much left of this beautiful step pyramid, but we do know that it was built using granite material. Now look at those 2 granite blocks. They fit perfectly together. Our friends from ancient aliens would say, is it possible that it was built by so-and-so? Now, it is really built perfectly. Look at this piece here. It's perfectly straight. Not only that, you know, in technology, sometimes you need such a, laser straight surfaces which you can use as the instrument to measure other products. Look at the third one. This one has obviously been machined. According to some researchers, this pyramid project is at least 15,000 years. We have granite. So, today we would need laser tools to cut granite, diamond tools, and machines. Who had them 15,000 years ago? need to change the history of this continent. The most northern place with the pyramids in Mexico is called Tula, officially built by Toltecs from 7th to the 12th century, and then they left. Nobody knows how, when, but they know where. Somehow they jumped for 3,000 kilometers to Chichen Itza. Now, 3 pyramids have been reconstructed. This is one of them. On top of it, we can see 8 stone columns, which are called by Toltecs Atlanteans. They claimed they came from the east, from the Red Land. Well, what is to the east from Mexico is the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. What is the Red Land? It's volcanic soil. Well, it seems that until 12,000 years back, there was a big island or small continent exactly in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which, according to some, was called the land of Atlantis. Chichen Itza, the pyramid of Kukulkan, one of the best known and most beautiful examples of the pyramid architecture, and very similar pyramid, step pyramid, but 10,000 miles to the east, Koh Ker Pyramid in Cambodia. I had the pleasure to be there with a friend of mine who actually made this photo of me, Valery Uvarov. Now, let's say a few words about this pyramid. It is 4-sided pyramid, triangular faces. It is oriented to the cardinal points, east, west, north, south. It has a passageway going from the top at 90 degrees down to the bottom. There are 2 chambers, empty, no artifacts, because there are resonance chambers. There are artificially made lakes to the left and to the right, connected with the canals. Water moves, kinetic energy. The material, volcanic stone, iron, energy, and sandstone, quartz crystal, amplifies the energy. So now, traveling the world, we've realized that pyramids have something to do with the energy. You know, for the longest time, for 20 years, people who were obstructing our project, complaining about us, attacking us, they were saying it is pseudo-archaeological project, pseudo-scientific project. There is no science there. Well, I said, listen, you know, we have all these measurements, sample testing, lab analysis. We have had 7 international scientific conferences, not enough. So what do you need? We need you to start publishing in double-blind, peer-review scientific articles. Okay.
Double blind.
Double-blind. Double-blind means that I don't know who's reviewing my article, and they do not know who's the author. That's double-blind. Well, guess what? I decided to start writing those. They call them original research articles, and they've been published in international scientific journals. In the last 1 year, I have published not 1, not 2, but 29 scientific articles.
Yay.
So, this is one of them, World Journal of Forest Research, Pyramids Beneath the Forest, a global phenomenon and the dilemma between archaeological discovery and ecological preservation. Basically, I am arguing, you know, which pyramids to uncover, like if you have the best quality concrete in Bosnia, you can uncover it with no problem. But if you have, you know, clay as the construction material, or if you have adobe bricks which can be damaged, then you better keep them covered. For example, this is a pyramid in Mexico called La Venta Pyramid. They're saying it was built by Olmecs. Another thing that they make up. La Venta Pyramid. You see the forest around it. At one time, everything was forested, everything was covered by forest. And what they did, they removed the forest only, leaving the pyramid covered just with soil and grass. But we can clearly see 4 sides and the corner. Pyramids in China, all covered by soil and vegetation. In 1967, archaeologists from China had a presentation in Japan, and he said they discovered 250 pyramids in the central province of Shanxi. 20 of them being huge, the biggest one made from superior materials like granite and sandstone, and 230 smaller ones being built from the mud bricks. Then he said that he found some writings, some form of the symbolic writings. He partially deciphered it, and he said the age of those oldest pyramids was 12,800 years. He came back to China. They put him into the mental hospital. Nobody heard about him no more. 12,800. What's the problem? 1967 is the first year of the famous Chinese Cultural Revolution. If you had opinion different than the official, you wouldn't have a good time. That was 1967. That was 60 years ago. Has anything changed in those 60 years? So the Chinese government decided to plant the trees on the pyramid to hide it from the Western eyes. Why? Chinese history 5,000 years old. But advanced society, the first one, Emperor Qin, 2,300 years. He built the famous Great Chinese Wall. He united 7 provinces in blood into one country. He started the first currency. So he's celebrated as the guy who started the Chinese emperor. And now we need to change everything because of pyramids. We need to go back for 10,000 years. The Chinese Communist Party is not ready. And when I talk to my colleagues from China, the major archaeologists from the Institute of Archaeology in Xi'an, they told me they will not get permissions for another generation, 25 to 30 years. This is the view of maybe the most beautiful pyramid in Mexico. The pyramid is called the Pyramid of the Sun. It is rather close to the Mexico City, and the name of the city is Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan in Nahuatl, Aztec language, means the place where people became gods. It was completely covered by soil, bushes, vegetation, 150 years ago. It took 75 years for archaeologists from Mexico and America to completely uncover it. And this is how it looks like today. When you look from the base of the pyramid, people who are climbing the top, they look so tiny. And indeed, they climb the top, 74 meters. You would say that the builders wanted to reach the sky with this structure. Interestingly enough, it is exactly half of the height of the Great Pyramid of Egypt. The length of the sides at the base of Mexican pyramid, 231 meters. Egyptian, 231 meters. In the Great Pyramid of Egypt, we have number pi, 3.14. In Mexican, we have square root of number pi. In Egypt, we have 3 pyramids, Cheops, Khafre, and Mykerinos. In Mexico, 3 big pyramids, Sun, Moon, Quetzalcoatl, and their layout is exactly the same. They are teaching us in schools that there was no communication between the continents thousands of years ago, and here we can see the signature of the same architect. Almost everything they teach us about the ancient history is wrong. They don't teach us about the pyramids in the United States of America, USA. But just in one place, across Salt Lake, St. Louis, sorry, we have 120 pyramids. They call them Cahokia Mounds because they are located in Cahokia National Park. This is the biggest one. They call it Monk's Mound. 4 sides, 4 corners. The surface, 12% larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. In order to build this structure, they needed to use an equivalent of 122,000 trucks with the construction materials. 122,000 20-ton trucks. In order to build the whole complex, today it's 120, before it was much more. They needed millions and millions and millions of tons of material. Now, in 1970, they built a museum at the site. The museum cost American taxpayers $20 million. 20 million then, 55 years ago, is about 200 million today. And the museum is filled with half-naked Indians. They're telling us that those Indians built pyramids. Now, we know that Indians were nomads. They never built permanent structures. So who built them, if not Indians? White Europeans, of course not. Then who? Now we need to change the American history. When I was there talking to the main archaeologist, I asked him, okay, have you done any excavations? Have you found any chambers, passageways, underground water flows? He said no. I said, why not? He said, well, we cannot get permissions. I said, how come we cannot get permissions? Well, it's very hard. I said, listen, this is government land. This is government national park. This is government museum. These are government pyramids. How come you cannot get permissions? You are government employees. It should be a piece of cake. And he said, yes, but you know, archaeology is very expensive. I said, listen to me. I'm coming from Bosnia, the poorest country in Europe. And we have the most active archaeological site in the world. And America is the only superpower. There's something else. We need to change the history of America. 3 pyramids in Italy, Montevecchia pyramids. The reason I'm bringing them here, look at the layout. 1, 2, 3. This broken line. The same layout like the pyramids in Mexico, Sun, Moon, Quetzalcoatl. The same layout like 3 Giza pyramids. The layout that reminds us of 3 stars over Round Belt. But also many other layouts. I'll come to that. Yes.
Those Chinese pyramids also in that similar alignment, right?
Not really. 250 of them.
No, okay.
It's great concentration.
Different situation.
It's only in the Shanxi province. Now, back in 2006, our friend Dr. Danny Hillman discovered pyramids in Western Java. The area is called Gunung Padang, the Hill of Light. The pyramid is completely covered by forest. It is in the jungle. The height of the pyramid is 100 meters. It's 4-sided pyramid. It's truncated pyramid. It's elongated pyramid. It has rather good orientation, east, west, north, south. Dr. Danny thinks it was a step pyramid built from the volcanic stones. And indeed, a lot of shaped volcanic stones, 4, 5, or 6 sides. He's done excellent research. He determined there are 4 cultural layers, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and 27,000 years old. 27 is basically the era when the pyramid was built. So the biggest structure is from that time. He ran a published article in one of the archaeological magazines, and then everybody attacked him. 27,000 years, he changes the history of the Asia. So archaeologists from the United States and United Kingdom put a lot of pressure to the magazine, which retracted the article. And their propaganda tools, which are called media, like CNN, ABC, CBS, BBC, and so on, they started laughing at this excellent expert. He has his PhD in geophysics. Excellent expert. South Korea had at least 3 dozens of pyramids. Only 3 of them survived. Gympie Pyramid in Australia. Gympie was shaped hill, 4 sides, 4 corners, stepped, 10 megaliths on the top. When I was there a few years back, those megaliths were on the ground. They used to be standing up. And megaliths marking cardinal points east, west, north, south. Who would build pyramids in Australia? Aborigines, no. They are smart, they are spiritual, but they don't build pyramids. So what Australian government did to resolve this puzzle, they simply destroyed the pyramid and placed the highway on this property. Pyramids in Israel. Halfway from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, step pyramid, 2,000 tons, I calculated. Every block is different size. Well, this is the pyramid construction. And under the pyramid, we have underground tunnels, and those four sides match the cardinal points. Now, the Jews are trying to prove, oh, it was our heritage. It was thousands of years before they showed up. In April of 2005, I first came to Bosnia, to Bosnian town of Visoko, rather, and at that time I lived in Houston, Texas. I spent more than 25 years in Houston. And then I was coming to Bosnia, of course, to visit my family, and I was researching another phenomenon called stone spheres. And one day, the director of local museum, he invited me to come to Visoko to visit the local museum. I came, but what really caught my attention was this. Everybody called it a natural hill because it is covered by forest, which was planted back in 1960s and 1970s, and by bushes and soil. But I was looking at the geometry. On this aerial photo, we can see four sides. 1, 2, 3. Fourth you cannot, unless you are John Paul. And then we can see 4 triangular faces. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can see 4 corners. Well, from here you can see 3. 1, 2, 3. The fourth is in the back. So geometrically speaking, this is a pyramid. Look at the slope, the same from bottom to the top. So this is not irregular, natural hill. This is perfect 4-sided pyramid covered by soil, vegetation and forest after thousands of years. But since majority of the people have been programmed to think pyramids, Egypt, desert, sun, pharaohs, tombs, they have a problem. We deprogram ourselves. Pyramids, 4-sided pyramid geometry, corners, triangular faces, perfect orientation, energy potent construction material, resonance chambers, underground tunnels, quartz crystal. Then it opens a whole new world. From this point up is 220 meters. So back in 2005, I said to myself, this is the biggest pyramid on the planet. And the compass was showing me east, west, north, south. I said it's perfectly oriented. However, after thousands of years, wind, dust, soil, seeds, rain, it got covered. Same scenario like in China, Indonesia, Cambodia, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, and other countries. 2005, I got permission for the preliminary research. Everything I did, they were telling me anomalies. I wrote the book, published it, and had a big press conference in Sarajevo, October 25th, 2005. 2522. And I announced the news to the world. The first pyramids in Europe have been discovered. They are bigger than any other pyramid, and probably they are older. That was hypothesis. Many people supported the idea, except for the cultural establishment, historians, archaeologists, geologists, everybody, and his brother was attacking me. They were saying it's impossible. I went to the Department of Archaeology. They said, we know Bosnia, we have no pyramids. Went to the National Museum. We never had pharaohs, therefore we cannot have pyramids. I said, fine. I established non-profit foundation under the name Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation, and here we are. We have archaeology and many more things, and I'll come to that. And guess what? They were saying you don't have peer-reviewed articles about the existence of Bosnian pyramids because you know reviewers want to prove that. Well, they did approve my scientific article about existence of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. This journal, Environmental Impacts, Medical Environmental Sciences. And the title of the article, Multidisciplinary Evaluation of the Pyramid Shaped Formation near Visoko, a case for anthropogenic construction. And I'm listing dozens and dozens of proofs why this was artificially made structure.
When was that published?
It was published just recently. Where is the date?
Oh, is this one of the papers you wrote recently?
Yes, it was published just a couple of months back.
Excellent.
Excellent. Very, very good.
Very good.
The Sun Pyramid, we started digging because we registered foundation for the archaeological and scientific research. We've been getting permissions on yearly basis. Wherever we were digging on the Sun Pyramid in the beginning, we were finding proofs of the structure. For example, this is a corner. Once we removed 1 meter of soil, we found a corner at 90 degrees between north and east. Every other place are producing construction materials, blocks, rectangular, square, blocks, 1 meter below soil. So we have soft soil and all of a sudden extremely hard construction material. This is our trench number 4C, rectangular block, 4.5 meter by 1.5, 45 centimeters, 7 tons. Another one, the second row, the third row, the fourth row, we have a structure. We took samples from these blocks, sending them to 7 institutes for materials, Italy, France, Czech, Slovakia, Bosnia. They all told us it was an artificially made concrete blocks. Some people call it geopolymer, some people call it synthetic. 2 elements to determine the quality of concrete: hardness. Harder the concrete, better quality, more durable. Our concretes 10 to 60 megapascals, and concretes from Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun 73 to 155. We cannot reach such good quality concrete like the ancient builders. Another one, water absorption. We allow up to 3% water absorption, and this concrete only 1%, meaning it's superior. This is the best quality concrete ever. Our concretes today, they last 50 years, 100 years. Roman, 2000 years. This one is much, much older. So far we have uncovered thousands and thousands of tons of best quality concrete. What was binder, today we were able to see it, this brownish material, melted clay. The ancients were smart. They never used artificially made materials. They don't have plastic, they don't have artificial rubber, they don't have cement. They knew the properties of natural construction materials. They knew that the clay is excellent binder. The only problem is you need to change from solid to liquid so it can receive all these pebbles, rocks and sand, and when it goes back to the solid state, it becomes the best binder ever. Where they find those rocks, pebbles and sand? By digging tunnels. 100 kilometers of tunnels, millions of tons of construction material. Where they find the clay, every Bosnian hill has a lot of clay, so all the construction materials were around, nearby. When we changed the color of our green pyramid, from green to the color of concrete, grayish, brownish color, keeping the same shape and geometry. This is what we are getting. From this to that.
Sam, can you orientate us when we were today? Is there somewhere on the picture you can show where we were today?
We were here today.
Is that where we were? Okay.
We are here today. For some of you, it looked like you climbed almost the top. But you just started. Now, in another article, published in the journal called Annals of Civil Engineering, not Egyptology, civil engineering and management. I published a scientific article called Megalithic Pyramid Engineering, a comparative study of scale, material use and structural complexity across ancient civilizations. I've been traveling the world, 6 continents, finding the pyramids everywhere, comparing them. We thought that the largest pyramid on the planet is the Great Pyramid of Egypt. They are saying 2 million blocks with 6.5 million tons of material. Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, 115 million tons of material. How do we know that? In order to determine the precise dimensions of pyramids, even geodesy is not enough. We had to commission LiDAR scanning. LiDAR, you have a plane with a laser machine. It shows the laser rays, and those rays are going in between, the trees, branches, and leaves, hitting the ground. And once you have enough point on the ground, you can get perfect picture without the greenery. That's why the plane has to fly several times, 15, 20 times above the pyramid, in order to completely remove the layer of greenery and to completely remove the houses that we saw today. So, 220 meters starts from here going up, 220, bigger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. But without the greenery and forest and homes, look what we have here. The corner goes all the way to the bottom of the valley, which is logical. You have 2 major rivers. This is the eastern slope, and this is the northern slope. So the real height is from here to there, 368 meters. LiDAR technology. 368, Egyptian 146. 2.5 times taller. Accepted in scientific magazines. Now it has become the part of the scientific knowledge. The next thing, very important, orientation to the north. We discussed it today briefly. Egyptian pyramids all oriented to the north. Chinese, Peruvian, Cambodia, Indonesia, Cahokia, north, 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 north. And we explained why. The Great Pyramid of Egypt has an error to true north of 0 degrees and 3 minutes. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, this one right here, according to the State Institute for Geodesy, when they apply the total station, scientific instruments, has an error of 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and 12 seconds. The most precise ever. The Great Pyramid has the length of the sides of 230 meters, Bosnian 1050 meters. Now imagine, it's more than 1 kilometer. It's 8 football stadium, or maybe 8 rugby stadium. And there is no error from perfect north. Who were the builders, really? And the beauty of what we do here, everything is measurable. We don't guess, we measure. It is called science. And I documented this orientation of other world pyramids and Bosnian pyramids in the article titled True North Across Civilizations, Comparative Study of Pyramid Alignments in 5 Continents. 12 arc seconds is our error. They wanted the science? Here's the science. Geothermal analysis. What we did, we scanned the area. This is the Visoko Valley. This is the river Forica, river Bosna. During the daytime and during the nighttime, we wanted to see the heat loss. If you have a natural hill, a product of sedimentation, it takes millions of years for the hill to come to existence, millions of years. So it's very hard to heat them up, but they also lose the energy very, very, very slow. But if you have structures with chambers and passageways, you lose heat very quick. And guess Who has the biggest heat loss? The pyramid of the sun, the pyramid of the moon, the pyramid of the dragon, the pyramid of the lava. Why? Because they have passageways and chambers. Water, extremely important element. Two major rivers. In Egypt, of course, River Nile. Major rivers in Egypt, Mexico, and Peru, and Bosnia also. By having the river here on the surface, they also made sure that they're going to have a lot of underground water flows. How do we know that? There are people called dowsers. They have dowsing rods, and some of them are very sensitive. They can sense where the water flow is. So, for example, you have a property, you need the water, you call dowser, he comes with a dowsing rod, he says, oh, okay, you have water here. How deep? 23 meters. You dig, you find the water. Now imagine you have 5 dowsers from 5 different countries coming at 5 different times with their dowsing rods, and they all tell the same thing. The tunnels that we have here at Ravne, under the tunnels we have underground water flows. I even had the guy from Novi Sad in Serbia. He told me, I'll just have my dowsing rods, blind my eyes, and I'm going to walk using dowsing rods. Because the tunnels here, they are above underground water flows. What does it tell me? Hydrologically, they are probably doing a huge work under the ground, making sure that they have this kinetic energy under the tunnels. So water, always very important element. Water moves, kinetic energy. Next, astronomy. Astronomical properties of the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. When you climb the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun and you watch certain astronomical phenomena during the most important dates, such as summer solstice, middle of the summer, fall equinox, and the others, this is what we have. The summer solstice, which is a couple of days ahead of us, this is the shadow of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. To the left is the western slope of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, still covered by forest, triangular face. Just before the sunset, the shadow forms a pyramid with the same height like the Moon Pyramid, and the shadow touches the foundation of the Moon Pyramid, telling us how high is this structure. How high? 190 meters, higher than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. It's coming from the right side. This is south. Why south? South, it means the summer is coming, hot days are coming. Only when observed from the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, meaning the top was astronomical observatory. This was one of the functions, not the major, but one of them. The middle of the summer, the hottest days, we are observing the shadow of the sun from the top of the Sun Pyramid. Here's the western slope. Afternoon hours, sunset. The shadow completely covers the Moon Pyramid, and top of the shadow touches the top of the Moon Pyramid. Message from the ancients: the rule of the day and the sun is over, the rule of the night and the moon starts. Genius. The next one, fall equinox, September 23rd. Up, we can see the Moon Pyramid. To the left, this beautiful triangular shadow is the shadow of the Sun Pyramid. And you see how the shadow is coming from the left side this time. The shadow. And this shadow here is actually the shadow of the Love Pyramid. So we have another player now. Sunset, the shadow of the Love Pyramid completely covers the Moon Pyramid. And what happened to the shadow of the Sun? It comes from the left side, from the north. Why? Because it announces that colder fall and winter days are coming. If it was only that, one would realize somebody was terraforming, somebody was doing a huge construction work, manipulating with tens of millions of tons of material. And that's not all. Our late friend, Dr. Harry Oldfield from United Kingdom, developed a technology called PIP, poly-contrast interference photography, with which he was able to see what our naked eye cannot see, the energy fields. So, for example, this is a village in Serbia called Mala Krsna. You see the houses, and those fields, green, red and blue, and green and blue and red, they are all horizontal. This is my favorite place in the United States of America called Sedona. Now, famous red rocks, beautiful energy. Maybe the most famous is Bell Rock. Behind the Bell Rock, by using now advanced, upgraded technology called New Energy Vision Camera, I filmed it. You see those energy fields behind? All horizontal. You can see the green and brown and green and blue, and all horizontal. Always in the nature, horizontal fields. Rivers, seas, deserts, always. Look at this, Abu Simbel, Egypt, always horizontal. Look at this, Temple of Isis, horizontal. What is this? Which pyramid is this one? The second largest, Khafre pyramid. From this side, it's coming horizontal, but when it comes close to the pyramid, we have vertical fields. Horizontal, vertical. What does it tell us? It seems that the pyramids are energetically active, whatever it means. And this is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, right here. Vertical fields. This is 2015, this is what we scanned. And in 2007, Dr. Harry Oldfield himself came and he filmed it, and now we have it in 3D. Now look, here the base are the buildings in the town of Visoko. Here's the pyramid. Observe red color. Of course, red is always energy. Now you're going to see how energy is being accumulated. You see red? Everything is red now. And this energy is going through the top of the pyramid, hitting those horizontal fields. They become vertical. And that's the reason why we have vertical energy fields above the pyramid. So, as early as 2007, we knew that pyramids had something to do with the energy. But then it was too early to start talking about the energy because everybody was attacking us, claiming there are no pyramids at all. So we had to prove that we have structures first. Now, I'll run the same video. This time, we'll be looking something else. Now look at this oval thermal signature, which is different. It's coming into the pyramid. This oval vehicle. Getting inside. And now let's see, where is it?
Where is it?
Yes, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's leaving now. Went inside the pyramid, got fuel, and now leaving the pyramid. There it is. Obviously different thermal signature.
Did you see it with the naked eye?
No, I saw it with this camera. 2015-16. Now look, to the right is the town of Visoko. Hotel, Pyramida Sunca, other structures. Horizontal, we come to the sun, we come to the love pyramid, vertical. Why? Because we have energy machines. They will still active. Panoramic photos. This is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, 2011. Vertical, 2015. Vertical energy fields. And then I did another article investigating the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. Archaeological excavations, Fibonacci geometry, energy phenomena, and astronomical relationships. Journal of Environmental Sciences, and so on. So, I'm giving all the scientific arguments into existence of the Moon Pyramid.
What year? 2025?
It's all 2025,
Look at that, 7 May 2025. This is brilliant, son.
of course.
Brilliant.
Okay. Now, when we applied this LiDAR technology, LiDAR scanning, then we went a step further. So what we did 4D visualization, the Sun Pyramid and the Moon Pyramid over here, a little bit different in shape. Now, instead of concrete blocks, like on the Sun Pyramid, on the Moon Pyramid we have sandstone-shaped plates forming the terraces. One row, second row, third row. Now here we have a group of volunteers working on the Moon Pyramid. Can you see those beautifully shaped plates? When shock came, early 2006, he said, oh, that's a classical geological phenomenon. Geological? Yeah, right. Shaped on all 6 sides. Perfectly fit each other. The problem with them are the consequences. It's not the structure itself, the consequences. How come we had pyramids of all countries in Bosnia? How come now we have to to change the history? So this is the Moon Pyramid. You can see triangle face here. Wherever we are digging, we are finding terraces, rectangular structures, more terraces, plates, shaped blocks, stairs. This is the top of the Moon Pyramid. So we removed about 1 meter of soil. This is what we are discovering. The first terrace, the second terrace, the third terrace. And then we cut the hole to see how the structure looks like, how the profile looks like. And look at it. We have the first row of blocks and we have 8 centimeters of clay. Clay they used as a binder, thermal insulation, sound insulation, and they are getting also scalar waves.
Is this
Conductive, non-conductive, conductive, non-conductive. The whole structure is like this.
inside that hole?
Yes.
So,
So now I'm taking photos from the hole.
Black Kocher Pyramid.
Yeah.
so is this the tomb for the pharaoh?
For Muyo. We are at the base of the Moon Pyramid. Look at here. We have larger plates, we have medium size and small size. But not only that. Can you see the Fibonacci spiral? Fibonacci spiral here? I mean, no coincidences.
Sam, listen, why don't you put a bloody sarcophagus in that thing, and say, we found a mummy, this is a pyramid.
Okay. Now, we have a complex of 6 pyramids. Sun, Moon, Dragon, Earth, Love, and the 6th pyramid. This is the Dragon Pyramid. Vertical, vertical. This is the Love Pyramid. The one to the left. Vertical fields, vertical fields. Different corners, different years. So they've been active every year. Temple of Mother Earth, this one right here. Vertical, vertical. And Cafe. You know, I was taking groups to Egypt every December. So when I started bringing the equipment and doing the measurements, I was very excited when I scanned this. I sent it to my friends, Egyptologists, archaeologists, geologists. I said, hey, the second largest pyramid in Egypt is still energetically active, and this is the proof. You know what they answered me? They said, we don't care about the energy. They are tombs, and that's it. Not very scientific. Then we have volcanic lines under the pyramids, many other proofs. Ley lines, let me mention that. The ley lines, now in the United Kingdom, they've been researched rather well. Ancients knew that if they place the structure above energetical lines, ley lines, they're going to amplify the energies. Now this is the map of the ley lines in the Central Balkan region. To the north is Croatia, to the east Serbia, here is Montenegro, and this is heart-shaped Bosnia. The red lines are ley lines. They're running north-south, east-west, and diagonally. Most of them intersects right here. Let's blow it up. Right here. This is not the capital city of Sarajevo. This is the town of Visoko, where the pyramids are located. How did they know what is under the ground? Now we are coming to next subject. It's called sacred geometry. Ancients knew that certain numbers, geometrical shapes, geometrical figures have the power to move the energy. For example, equilateral triangle. Why? 3 points in space we can connect in unlimited number of ways, but only one way will give us equilateral triangle with the same length of the sides and inner angles at 60 degrees, and therefore equilateral triangle is the most important triangle ever. Of course, number pi, number phi, Fibonacci spiral, hexagon, flower of life, these are all elements of sacred geometry. When we connect the tops of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, this one right here, the top of the Moon Pyramid, right here, 2,180 meters. From the Moon to Dragon, 2,180. From Dragon back to the Sun, 2,180. Equilateral triangle. Okay. These are some of the scans by LiDAR technology. We had Austrian team, Austrian plane flying over the place, and these are structures. Here's the Sun Pyramid, here's the Moon, here's the Dragon Pyramid. Now, good thing with the LiDAR, comparing to Google Maps, they are so much more precise. You have Google Map, you print it out, and you start connecting certain dots. You can be off 100 meters, 300 meters. In a case of LiDAR, you are off 10 centimeters. So they are absolutely correct. So, when you connect Sun and the Moon and Dragon, then it is perfect equilateral triangle. So now let's extrapolate some of those points, like top of the Sun and top of the Moon and Dragon and Temple of Mother Earth and the Love Pyramid. And let's play with them. Let's see if there are more elements of sacred geometry. So, Sun, Moon, Dragon, topographical map. We already discussed that. Sun, Moon, Dragon, the red. The middle point, very important. From middle point, what we're going to do a circle touching those 3 points. 1, 2, 3. The middle point is not only the middle of the triangle, but also this new circle. So, we start from here, and then we have the same size, same diameter circle, which goes to the top of the Moon and to the top of Dragon Pyramid. Another one, middle, top of Dragon, top of the Sun. Another one, middle, top of the Sun, top of the Moon. Flower of life, element of sacred geometry. The second flower of life is concentrated between Sun and the Moon Pyramid and 2 more pyramid hills. Second one. And we have the third flower of life. This time they are inside this triangle, Sun, Moon, Dragon, and the Love Pyramid. 3 flower of lives. But that's not all. The most important element of sacred geometry is Fibonacci spiral, golden section spiral. Why? Because I mentioned from the seashells all the way to the spiral galaxies, and everything in between, our human body is based on Fibonacci spiral. How do we know? Take one finger, not the middle one, this one. This finger has 3 bones. This bone right here, the smallest one, this bone in the middle, second largest, and this one here. This one is the largest. The largest bone is bigger than the second largest for 1.6 times. Golden section number. The second largest is bigger than the smaller one for 1.6 times. Our DNA, golden section. All other distances, 1.6 times. The Fibonacci spiral is the cosmic model how to create life. The flowers, sea life, plants, and so on. The ancients were smart. By applying those elements, they would create the movement, the proper movement of the energy. This is the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. This one is based on those lighter spots. This here is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Here it is. This here is the Love Pyramid, which is moved 60 degrees. This is the Moon Pyramid, north, south, east, west. This is Dragon Pyramid. This is Temple of Mother Earth with 2 triangular faces. If we have more than 2 points that intersects with the lines of Fibonacci spiral, this is not a coincidence. This is something that is intentional. More than 2 points, so 3, 4, 5, and so on. We start Fibonacci spiral at the top of the Love Pyramid. Look at this. We have top of the Sun Pyramid. We have top of Temple of Mother Earth. We have top of the Dragon Pyramid. And the blue goes all the way to the top of the tumulus in Vratnica, which we are going to visit tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, 5 structures. You see how the ancients were very careful to lay out those structures? There is something that's called Monte Carlo simulations. What are the odds? Statistics. What are the odds that 5 hills and their tops will intersect with the Fibonacci spiral? They don't need all to be exactly on intersection. They can be off for half a kilometer, 500 meters. What are the odds that anywhere on this planet there is similar place like this one? After 10,000 simulations, no configurations on the planet satisfied these conditions. There is not a single other place on the planet where 5, any type of the hills, can be connected by Fibonacci spiral. So the odds are basically 0, or less than 0.00001. The odds are 0. This cannot be coincidence, what we have in Bosnia. The next one. We start Fibonacci spiral at the top of the Sun Pyramid, and then base of the Moon Pyramid, top of Temple of Mother Earth, top of Dragon Pyramid. And the next one. This is the blue one is the river Fonica. Blue from this side is river Bosna. The mouth of 2 rivers. We started with Fibonacci spiral from the mouth of 2 rivers, and we have top of the Moon Pyramid, and we have 2 corners of Temple of Mother Earth. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Everything above 2 is no coincidence. It's intentional. So, let me see this Monte Carlo simulation. Probability that 3 golden section spirals, each originated from different landscape centers, would all intersect within half a kilometer of archaeological features. Results out of 10,000, no configurations around the planet satisfied those requirements. Only here. 3 Fibonacci spirals. This is tumulus in Vratnica. In archaeology, tumulus is conical, artificial hill. Conical, artificial hill. New Fibonacci spiral starts from the mouth of 2 rivers, estuary. Top of the Sun Pyramid intersects with the Fibonacci spiral. Entrance to the Ravne Tunnel Complex intersects, and top of the tumulus in Vratnica.
So when did you discover the tumulus, and when did that?
Back in 2006, this is where we started digging. This is from 2006. And we're going to go there tomorrow to see how the tumulus, which is much smaller than the pyramids, is so important place. Tumulus in the village called Vratnica. In Bosnian, Vratnica, Vrata means gate. This tumulus is gate to the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. Why they call it Vratnica, who knows? Maybe something in the blood, in the genes. And guess what? I wrote another article, this time about the tumulus. Tumulus is considered by archaeologists just a tomb. What I'm saying here, more than a tomb. Rethinking the purpose of the Vratnica tumulus in Bosnia through spatial geometry and energetic signature. So somebody will ask, when did we publish it? In May 2025, just recently. I've been very, very productive. And this is very, very good.
Very good. I love these journals that you've chosen. They're great.
Yes. Acta Scientific, Environmental Science. Now, this is a georadar scan of the tumulus in Vratnica. This here, half circular, this is the top of the tumulus. So we were dragging that huge georadar with a 6-meter antenna. It's a 25 megahertz. And look what we discovered below. If it is consistent like this, it means it is the same material. But if you have something like this in the blue, that's some type of the anomaly. What we have here is a chamber 14 meters below the top of the tumulus in Vratnica. And we have something here and here and here and here. Very probably a passageway leading to this chamber. That is one scan. And look at here. Here we have more anomalies. 18 meters, 40 meters, and the same level, again, 40 meters and so on. So very soon we're going to be buying, so instead of relying on other people bringing their scans, we're going to be buying 2 different technologies. One will be tomography. I believe our friends from US, Kurtax, will be talking about radar, SAR, tomography. You will be. So it was applied by our friend Corrado and Filippo from Italy. They are doing some work here in Bosnia also, so I know them very well. And we're going to be buying Python GPR. So we're going to have 2 different technologies to make sure that if something looks like a chamber, it is a chamber, so we can dig over there. Now, let's go on with the sacred geometry. Top of the sun, top of the love, top of 2 pyramid hills. Again, we have a Fibonacci spiral. And then I mentioned mouth of 2 rivers, River Fonica and River Bosna. And I published another article under the title, Is it Coincidence? Hydrological Engineering and Geometric Alignment in the Bosnian Pyramid Complex, published in the Journal of Water Research.
I love it. Great.
May 2025. These are the days when I would not sleep at all.
Just quick. How did you come across all these journals? Because they're not like journals.
They are not nature.
Yeah, they're not.
If you want to go to Nature or National Geographic, you send the article, and in average, the first answer is after 150 days. Assistant editor tells you, we have received your article. And then after a couple more months, they said, we have checked the article for grammar and if it fits structurally, if you have introduction and abstract and methodology and stuff like that. And after a few months, editor is saying, okay, I got this, I took a look, and it's not bad, I'm gonna send it to the reviewers. And after 3 years, they tell you yes or no.
Uptight bureaucratic.
I don't have time for that.
So
I go to the smaller magazines, and when you start, so what I did, I developed 5 of my platforms where I publish on those platforms my articles. They were not peer reviewed at the time, like academia.edu, Academia Edu, script.com, Google Scholar, Zenodo, and so I had 5 platforms, and those people from magazines, they read that and they contact you because they need good articles, and then they send you information about them. So you go ahead and check. You check their impact factor, meaning how many people would cite from those magazines, if they, if they share the information, if they are cross-referenced, if they issue DOI, that's a link to their magazines. And once you realize it's a rather good magazine, like General Water Research, they've been in business, for 3 years, so it's not bad. They did not start yesterday. Some of the magazines are 6 years or 13 years, so they're fine. And then you publish it. And then you get the reference to, in this particular case, to the water, surface water. What did I write here? Since we have this mouth of 2 rivers so often, so I was wondering if it was a natural spot or somebody artificially made it. So I'm arguing it was artificially made. Somebody was moving the riverbeds. So this is River Phonica. It flows east-west. And when they built Dragon Pyramid and Temple of Mother Earth here, what they did, they moved the riverbeds for more than 90 degrees, sending into the valley of the pyramids, the sun, the moon. So the mouth of 2 rivers is artificially made point. So what I did, I drew perfectly straight line from top of the Dragon Pyramid. So we have 3 elements. Top of the pyramid, perfectly straight. Due north, perfect north, it ends in the mouth. So no coincidence.
What I'd like to urge everyone here is just to look at the aerial photographs to see. It looks like you can actually see that it looks like somebody messed with the geology.
Exactly.
Topology there.
So it's not only millions of tons of construction materials, it's water on the surface, underground water flows. I mean, this was a huge construction site. Now look at this. This is topographic map. Top of the moon, top of the Temple of Mother Earth, top of the dragon. And this is a photograph. Top of the moon, top of the Temple of Mother Earth, top of the dragon. Only when you connect the very tops, the highest points, you are getting perfectly straight line. If you are a little bit off, it will be perfect. Only the highest points give you the perfectly straight line. So it means that the heights was there for a reason. And not only that. Number 1 is top of Temple of Mother Earth. Number 2 is the top of the love. Number 3 is the top of the sun. Number 4, we are doing some digging here, and there is unnamed structure, but there is a concrete structure. And number 5, Rane tunnels. 5 archaeological sites on perfectly straight line. If you get just one line or just one spiral, but here we have so many of them. and then more. We start taking some other pyramid hills, or not even pyramid hills, but the very tops. We realize that we have 1, 2, 3 points, 1, 2, 3 points. 90 degrees triangles. Talking about the triangles, the green, Bosnia, sun, moon, dragon, 2 kilometers. The red one, Egypt, top of Khufu, top of Menkauri, Mykerinos, and top of the pyramid natural hill, Gebel Gibli, triangle. Bolivia, top of Tijuanaco Plaza, top of Acapena Pyramid, and top of amazing Pumapunku Pyramid. Triangles, 3 continents. And now we are coming to my favorite part. This will be for the first time that I'm going to announce Fibonacci link. First terrestrial, which I already talked about, and then terrestrial and celestial. Is Jason here? Gaia. So Gaia TV will have really exclusivity to hear for the first time, and you guys here, about maybe even the biggest discovery here in the Valley of the Bosnian Pyramids. Now, I'm going to present you a comparative analysis of 2 major archaeoastronomical theories. The first one is Orion Correlation Theory, or OCT. It was proposed by Belgian Robert Boal in 1990s. Later on, accepted by Graham Hancock, Schock, and the others, it became very, 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 very popular. And the other one will be the Pleiades Pyramid Alignment Hypothesis, PPAH, emerging from our research here at the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. So the first one, OCT, Orion. Here we can see 3 stars in Orion belt. The idea was those 3 Egyptian pyramids at the Giza Plateau matched, their tops matched those 3 stars. Well, there are some reasons pro, there are some reasons against. Some astronomers are arguing that these are 3 pyramids and these are 3 stars. Some astronomers are arguing that the 3rd star is always a little bit off. Maybe. But Hancock and they are saying, oh, it was 10,500 years ago, it was exactly here. I'm not an astronomer, so maybe it was not. So here we have 3 pyramids and 3 stars of Orion belt. Now here, this is a Cygnus star cluster. Extremely important. As a matter of fact, when we check the oral traditions, this one was not so much important like the Cygnus star cluster. For astronomers, also very important, because first detected black hole was here. So when we see 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, they are also rather close to the layout of 3 Egyptian pyramids. But then, when you look at the Pegasus, 1, 2, 3, it is also very similar. When you take, for example, Fox star cluster, 1, 2, 3, also very similar. So instead of me guessing, we ran Monte Carlo simulation on 100,000 known stars visible from this planet, if you are the planet, the night sky. 100,000. It's not 10 star clusters. It's not 1,000, it's 100,000. So the question was, is this layout exclusive only to the 3 stars of Orion belt? Or there are more pretty much similar matches? The answer was, there are thousands of visible triplets at the night sky. Thousands. of 100,000 that fall within 1 to 2% of this layout. Not 1, not 2, not 4, like I'm proposing here, thousands. So how do we know that it exclusively belongs to those 3 stars around belt? I don't know. I'm not an astronomer. But I'm looking at the statistics. Thousands of them. They can be right, they can be wrong. So all our stories about the Isis and Osiris and, Horus and, yes sir.
This hypothesis was published 20 years before Babel in our book, but he never referred to it.
Really?
That is known as a scientist
I need to know, I need to read that.
at Stanford University.
Alright. Okay. This is OCT theory, around belt. And then after this, so this was based on visual observation and symbolical, talking about the gods and goddesses and stuff like that.
What does OCT stand for?
OCT stands for Orion Correlation Theory.
Ah.
OCT.
I thought it was obsessive compulsive trauma.
Okay, and now find the explanation for PPAH.
People's probability for oral hypothesis.
Yeah, very good. Hypothesis. All right, so let's go to people's hypothesis. In my scientific article, actually, right now it's 3 of them. It's 3 of them. But one is published, or they will be published very soon. Celestial correspondence and geometric patterning. The Pleiades and the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, which was published in June 2025, just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm checking terrestrial and celestial.
I'm going to smile at the journals that you found. It's brilliant.
International Journal of Aerospace Science, Technology and Engineering.
Yeah.
Engineer, geophysicists,
Yeah.
astronomers, they can understand.
I know.
Archaeologists cannot.
That's why I love these journals.
I sent a couple of my articles to the archaeological journals. They would not even go to my scientific arguments. They just said, Bosnian pyramids are not confirmed. Wikipedia says they are pseudo-archaeological projects. These people, they don't care what Wikipedia says. They care about what's written in the scientific article, if it is sound or not. They don't know who's the author. They don't know if it was me as the author or somebody else, or people who knows better Bosnian pyramids than myself, so they don't know.
Well, it's coming.
Yeah. So, Captain Leo, this is star cluster of Pleiades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 2, 9. 7 sisters of Pleiades. And 3 months a year from this area you can see 2 more, father and mother. 7 plus 2, 9 stars. So I was checking their layout. This is the most important. It's called Maya. So I was looking at it. I said, what do we have here? What are the connections? Now in the case of Egypt, we had that one broken line, 3 points. 2 straight lines, but it's like one broken line. So I'm looking here, well, we have something here, almost perfectly straight. So we don't have many straight lines. So I was thinking, okay, how about the Fibonacci spiral? Where do you start? But then eventually it was so logical. I'm looking at the Maya as the beginning of the spiral. The right, not the left, the right spiral. It goes like this, touching that one there, and this one, and this one, and this one. Okay. And then what I did, I took the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, and I rotated for 9 degrees. So the Sun Pyramid is here, the Moon Pyramid is here, the Dragon Pyramid is there. So I'm looking at those points. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is nearly perfect straight line. I'm looking there, nearly perfect straight line. All right. Pleiades, Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. First we are looking at the straight lines. We have Moon, Temple of Mother Earth, Dragon Pyramid, that's one. The other one, Temple of Mother Earth, Love and the Sun. And here we have, what do we have? Here's Maya, Electra, Alcyone. Okay, this one is close, but it's not, it was not right. So the straight lines, I did not really find them. And then I was looking at the triangles. We have some triangles, not perfect triangles like in Bosnia, but we do have some triangles. So lines and triangles, not really. But then, when I came to Fibonacci spiral, things changed completely. I start with the Maya. We have Taygeta, we have Salerno, we have Alcyone. We have 4 of them. And I checked the AI asking, has anyone discovered Fibonacci spiral at the Pleiades star cluster? The answer was no. I asked if there is any published scientific articles about this Fibonacci spiral. The answer was no. So just by looking, it looked really very regular to me. So now we have one Fibonacci spiral on the night sky. And then what we did, we laid over the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. The Maya was our estuary, mouth of 2 rivers. Such important spot. It's here, perfectly matched location of the Maya star. We go around, here, the Ravne tunnels, and there, the tumulus. Perfect match. 3 points from the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids and 4 points of the Pleiades. So this is something new, it's a novelty, it's a new, and I would say, huge discovery. Comparing to Egyptian, one broken line, here we have Fibonacci spiral. Is that all? Of course it's not.
Damn it. We applauded too early.
Those 2 other stars, Pleione, Atlas, Merope, Maya. Second Fibonacci spiral on the night sky. Nobody knew about this one. We just discovered second Fibonacci spiral. And then, when we applied to the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, with the rivers and the pyramids, what we have love, touching 2 corners of the Sun Pyramid, and going to the tumulus and Maya. So 4 points in the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, and 3 points at the Pleiades star system. Second Fibonacci spiral that match terrestrial with celestial major points. Is that all? Now we start from the Sun. Love, tumulus, and Maya. So here we have Pleione, we have Merope, and we have Maya stars. So, when we compare that one broken line in the case of Buvals and the other theories to what we have here, it's a huge difference.
Yes.
Have ancient builders. They're watching the stars, and then based on such a perfect spatial geometry of most important star cluster ever for our planet, did the same thing on this planet, it seems that the answer is yes. It has to be intentional. Now remember when we ran that Monte Carlo simulation about those 3 spots, how many potential similarity on the night sky? They told me thousands of them. So let's ask the same question. Monte Carlo simulation. We have triple spiral match, Earth and the star cluster. So we were asking, what would be the odds that three similar spirals intersecting features here in the Bosnian pyramids would match something on the night stars? 10,000 simulations, no configuration satisfied this intersection criteria. So probability is less than 0.0001, in other words, 0%. In the case of Egyptian theory, thousands potential matches, here 0. And we're not talking about one line, we're talking about the Fibonacci spiral, the most complex and the most important element of sacred geometry, and this is really this huge discovery which I present for the first time here. Thank you, and now we're going to make a break, about 20 minutes break. 20 minutes break. Thank you very much.
Я подумал о том, что жаль, что мы с тобой не взяли индийские костюмы, эти же, потому что можно было бы его одеть и сказать, считайте, что я жрец. Сейчас я вам расскажу.
Которая скоро у меня будет.
Сейчас я вам расскажу. Это очень хорошая штука. Оценишь.
Какая?
Корона. Назовем так. Это штука хорошая, но с ней надо регулярно работать. А я постоянно забываю про это. Нет, представляешь, она лежит сбоку, я постоянно про нее забываю.
Перенесу сюда. Надо тебе положить ее на стол.
Još tamo ljudi. Točno, ajde ne. Snijeg, ubaci pa da krene. Sad vremena. Ima 104 minuta, kartice radi zamjene. Okay, let's start.
Which time are you going to be, sir?
Till 11:30 midnight.
When can I?
Breakfast will be served here.
Midnight. This is a new day. New day starts. New energy comes, and then we go deep.
Then we get deep.
Are you going to mention the schedule for tomorrow?
Yes. Sutra krećemo 10, tako? Tomorrow we take off a little bit later, 10 o'clock. So we give you more time to rest.
Okay.
Have a breakfast, relax. So 10 o'clock we take off. All right, let's continue. Thank you for being patient and thank you for your support so far. Another article which is rather controversial deals with the dates. The problem that Dr. Danny Hillman had in Indonesia when he ran his article was dating of Gunung Padang Pyramid. And they made the magazines retract the article. So I was thinking about his experience. I was thinking about the experience from two Italian researchers, Filippo and Corrado. Probably you remember, 3-4 months back, we had the news that they used 2 satellites from Copernicus program. That's the European satellites, and you can access them for free. And they used radar rays as a huge antenna, so they were able to go very deep and get a clear picture of what is under Egyptian pyramids, especially under Khafre pyramids. 2 satellites from Copernicus. And they used radar rays as a huge antenna, so they were able to go very deep and get a clear picture of what is under Egyptian pyramids, especially under Khafre pyramids. 2 satellites from Copernicus program. And they used And then they went public, even though they wrote the article last year. This year they had a big press conference. And then, of course, Zahi Havas and everybody else attacked them. So I was thinking, how should I approach? If I write one article about everything in the Bosnian of the pyramids, they're going to attack me, they retract the, that particular article, and that's it. Instead, my strategy was, I'm going to write many articles in many magazines. So they force, one magazine, then the others will be there. So the most potentially controversial article is this one. Establishing deep time. Multi-method dating of archaeological and speleological features in the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, which was published in the magazine called Geoinformatics and Geostatistics, an overview.
I love that magazine.
This magazine is not bad. You see, 13.3, meaning 13 years in business, and third issue this year.
What does speleological mean?
Speleological, it is
subterranean,
underground.
I knew that.
Precisely, it describes our process of dating of the stalagmites. So, all our datings, and we have 28 radiocarbon dating. We have pedological dating. We have uranium-thorium analysis. There is no project in the world with more dating than ours. Today I mentioned Giza pyramids, only 4. Göbekli Tepe, only 4. People with the money, with the real money, we are talking millions. And then here in Bosnia, the poorest European country, one small foundation, the most dating, the most science. Pedological analysis. Pedology is a science that investigates the origin of soil. So Institute for Pedology from Bosnia took samples from the Sun and the Moon pyramid, concluding that the age of soil is about 15,000 years. If the layers of soil is 15,000, it means the structure below is even older. And then, with our Italian volunteers, archaeologists Niccolo Visconti and Riccardo Brett, when removing the soil from the Sun Pyramid, and remember today we went there, our third trench, with the big blocks, 30-something tons, when you see they are removing the clay, and they discovered those 3 dark brown spots. This is an organic material. We took samples, sent them for the radiocarbon dating, and the age of this material on top of the structure, it's going to give us minimum age. The age is 24,800 years plus minus 200 years. So we go back for 25,000 years, and it is still the minimum age, not the precise age. If we could find organic material between those concrete layers, then we could get exact age of the pyramid. And that's exactly what happened with our archaeologists, Tim Moon from New Zealand, and our volunteers, Germans from Canada, below. No, it's not the middle finger. He's showing the place where we discovered those leaves, below the first layer of blocks, above the second, like in the sandwich. What did we discover? We discovered fossilized leaves. How did they get there? The builders were pouring or laying concrete blocks, the first row, the second row, the third row. The wind was blowing, bringing those leaves, and then they placed the final row of concrete. Meaning, those leaves got there during the construction process. It's going to give us the exact age of the construction. We did radiocarbon dating, and the age is 29,200 years, plus minus 400 years. It is called radiocarbon date. Or, Valery, radio Vugleceva data. So, 29,200. This is called radiocarbon. In order to get the calibrated date, and Dr. Paula Violet, Dr. Paula Violet helped us with that. You add in about 14%, so the real age of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is 33,800 years. 33,800 years. So from 29 to 33, remember, Indonesia, 27, very close. So basically, I was the happiest man in 2006 when Dr. Danny Hillman discovered pyramid there. I was not jealous, on the contrary, I was happy because it is supporting our work. And that's how the science should work. Not the jealousy, not envy, not supporting each other. And now I'll just mention very briefly another phenomenon, the stone spheres. Some of you, we were taking you at the stone spheres around Bosnia. There's phenomenon which is present in Costa Rica, Palmar Sur, in Mexico, Ahualco, in Argentina, in New Zealand, in Siberia, in Turkey, in Croatia, in Serbia, and in Bosnia. And in this article, Journal of Environmental Sciences, Sustainability, and so on, the global phenomenon of the stone spheres, because I visited and investigated most of them. New findings from Zavidalici, Bosnia and Herzegovina, technological knowledge, featuring the world's largest stone sphere. This one, right here. We have them in Costa Rica, granodiorite, 20 tons. We have them in Western Mexico, volcanic stone, 25 tons. We have them in Bosnia, 37 tons, 430 kilos. 37 tons. You see, in Bosnia, everything is the biggest, the oldest, and the most beautiful. That's the complex of small countries. This is the same. This one now it's uncovered a little bit more. Some of them unfinished. Geologists are saying it's all natural. We had some geologists saying, during the glacial periods, the glaciers were moving, and they were moving how? Sculpting the stone spheres? I don't understand those things. Anyway, somebody asked about the purpose of pyramids, and this is an important question. So once you prove that you have complex, that you have it dated, what is the true purpose? Archaeologists, historians, geologists cannot help us. Nobody's teaching them about the true purpose. We need it, again, people with the scientific instruments, physicists, engineers. In my article, the Bosnian pyramids as prehistoric energy machines, multidisciplinary evidence of forensic technology and focused energy beams. I argue that pyramids are actually prehistorical energy machines. So we are challenges assumptions about the function of pyramid structures by presenting the really multidisciplinary scientific work. So, teams from Croatia, in this case, Serbia, Finland, Italy, Germany, were coming with their equipments, for example, Engineer Mizrak, Gauss meter, EMF, oscilloscope spectrometer, calibrated, highly sensitive. On the top of the Sun Pyramid, they measured energy beam, 4.5 meter diameter, 13 feet diameter, 28 kilohertz frequency. He is Engineer Mizrak. And then we had a team from Serbia, led by Engineer Goran Marjanovic. He confirmed the frequency of 28 kilohertz frequency 3 months later, bringing his own equipment, testometer, trifield meter, oscilloscope, and so on and so forth. We had a team from Finland, Engineer Heikki Savolainen. From Italy, Professor De Bertolis. They all bring their equipment. So if you have 5 teams who come at 5 different times, summer and fall and winter and spring, day and night, and they all get the same results. In science, it is called an international scientific verification of the phenomenon. Which phenomenon? This one right here. Energy beam going through the top of the pyramid. 28 kilohertz frequency. Electrical in nature. Ultrasound in nature. Starts at 4.5 meters and then it expands. Mother Nature does not make hills with 4 sides, with 4 triangular faces, with 4 corners, with the perfect orientation to the north, south, east and west, with the best quality concrete, with underground tunnels and chambers, with perfect triangular shapes, with the 3 Fibonacci spirals. Mother Nature does not do that, but intelligent hands. This is a product of intelligent design. And then we've done measurements during the moon eclipse. It happened July 27, 2018, moon eclipse. That was a rare astronomical phenomenon. We had 5 cosmic, objects, the same line. Sun and Venus and Earth and Moon and Mars. So we checked during the daytime, before this phenomenon, checked the strength of the signal, and during the moon eclipse, from 9:15 p.m. until 10:30, during the eclipse, strength of the energy beam was exactly 2 times stronger. So other planets, if you are planet, other planets affects the energy of our Earth, whatever it is. And then we measured the strength of signal on the top of the pyramid, here on the ground, 3 meters higher with this sonda, another 3 meters. Every time I lift sonda, signal was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Same frequency, 28 kilohertz, but signal from 1.9 volts to 3.8 volts to 7 volts getting stronger. In science, this phenomenon is called scalar waves, or non-Hertzian waves, or Tesla's energies. And indeed, Nikola Tesla, and we have Tesla Square, we have his statue there. Nikola Tesla, the genius mind, was working with the subtle energies, concluding that this particular frequency, the non-Hertzian waves, or scalar energy, travels quicker than the speed of light. Or, to be more precise, that information within scalar fields move quicker than the speed of light. Or to be even more precise, for scalar fields, the time does not exist. If you can measure them on one end of the galaxy, you can measure them at the same time on the other end. Therefore, non-Hertzian waves are ideal media to move, to transport the energy and information. That way we are coming to the first purpose of the pyramids. Now, Nikola Tesla, back in 1901, he built the famous Wardenclyffe Tower in the state of New York. He was financed by one of the monsters, J.P. Morgan, the billionaire, and he did a few experiments, and he was writing in his diary, I found a way to move unlimited quantities of energy from one planet to another, thousands of horsepowers, regardless of their distance. And the frequency he was using was 28,000 hertz or 28 kilohertz, the same frequency that we measured on top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Yes, that's it. Tesla, through unsuccessful and successful experiments, came to the best frequency to transport the energy. And the Bosnian pyramid builders knew that more than 30,000 years back. The Kukulkan Pyramid, 2008, remember this one? Tourist from El Salvador was filming his kids, Just before the storm started, energy beam was filmed, and after this event, Mexican government forbid climbing this pyramid. Those of us who were there before, we remember we could climb. After that, they would not allow us. Why?
Is this a normal picture?
It's,
Normal, yes.
We have the details tomorrow.
We have the details.
yes,
Okay.
it is normal. Coming from
Well, it's abnormal, but it's
It was a cell phone when the data.
yes. Why would they, forbid people to climb? Maybe because some irresponsible engineer could come with the equipment and start measuring. So it's better that they stop this to occur. The moon pyramid in Teotihuacan, energy beam. So more pyramids have been energetically active. A friend from Italy, Professor Paolo De Bertolos, University of Trieste, he was scanning different energy properties, among them ultrasound. On the top of the Sun Pyramid, besides electrical, we have ultrasound feature also. So it is the same frequency, 28 kilohertz. It is called ultrasound because we cannot hear. We hear up to 20 kilohertz, but we can record it. So he recorded 28 kilohertz, and then what he did, he converted from 28 to something that we can hear, to 8 kilohertz. So let's hear how the pyramid speaks.
very scary.
Not really, the Moyo is sending messages from the pyramid. Why is this frequency so important? Ralph Ring, a few decades ago, probably you know him, right, Ralph Ring? He was doing experiments with different frequencies of the sound and then ultrasound. When he came to 28 kilohertz, he had a table tennis ball above the sound speaker. At this particular frequency, the ball started going to the air. He discovered the levitation frequency, 28. Now, if you have this frequency strong enough, then you can use the advantages of the levitation.
Ever try it with a ping pong ball in the above the pyramid?
Well, we had some irresponsible tourists. They would stay for too long, and we would need to look for them behind the clouds. But no, the problem is nowadays the signal is very weak. Why is very weak? Because our planet is very weak. After the deluge, after the end of the last ice age, our planet became so weak. So all the energy sources of the planet are weak. You have pyramid, it amplifies. When you amplify strong energy, it's very strong. When you amplify weak energy, it's still weak energy. So, that's the reason why we cannot use it today for the same purposes like before. But maybe it might be somewhere on the way how they were moving such a huge quantities of material. This is our international group from Serbia, Croatia, and Slovenia. Years ago, it would be the same country. We were sending drone with different instruments to measure electrical field, magnetic field, ultrasound, infrasound, electromagnetic field, temperature, orgone energy. This is how the drone was flying left and right and back and forth, another meter higher, left, right, back and forth, higher. So we covered a huge area. And this is how the energy beam looks like. This is the top of the pyramid. From 4.5 meters, it expands to 20 meters, coming back to 4.5, then again expands, coming back, expands, coming back. Scalar waves. And then we were thinking, okay, where is this energy being directed to? Some star systems or 90 degrees to the sky? No. In the morning, it's moved a little bit to the east. And this is where the sun, is rising. Noontime, south. That's the location of the sun. Afternoon, southwest. Look. The strongest is here, the southwest corner. Evening, west. It means that this energy beam is directed to the sun. Now, does it mean that our planet communicates with the sun? It is possible. And maybe using the sun as the cosmic gate to communicate with other star systems, it is possible. And maybe with other galaxies. But then, pyramids are not only transmitters, they are antennas. They receive the information. So energy goes both ways. Energy equals information. Everything is information and everything is energy. So, the first purpose of pyramid energy is it's been communication device. And that's why we are different than any other project in the world. Interdisciplinary scientific approach. For the second purpose, we need to go to the Bosnian underground. Not political, which is very developed, but archaeological. You visited the tunnels. Ravne, we have cleared 2.5 kilometers. Ravne 2, Ravne 3, Ravne 4, Ravne 6, Ravne 5, 3.6 kilometers. It's a huge network. We suspect maybe 100 kilometers. You get inside, you can breathe very well. So Ravne, this is KTK, 4 meters high, that's in the town of Visoko. Ravne 2, this is Discovery, the matter of fact. Michael here, he was here 2015, 16, 17 when we were just discovering the second level tunnels. Ravne 3, okay, we have some wonderful people here, and some of them are even here. Mike here, where is Mike?
He's not here.
He left. Okay. He was here an hour ago. Well, anyway, this is the crew who was helping us discover tunnels over there. Did you go to run 3 tunnels this afternoon? You were there. Okay. So it was like this, filled with the filler material, which we removed. These are the first artifacts on the surface. This is Middle Age. This is ancient Roman times, 1800 years. We discovered 3,300 artifacts just in this little section. And then, of course, I wrote another article. Archaeological stratigraphy and environmental analysis of the Ravne 3 tunnel complex. Evidence from multi-period artifacts. Radiometric dating and energetic microclimate data. And this one is from May. Busy, very, very, very busy. So basically I'm explaining also all these human activities from Neolithic times, Roman era, late Middle Ages, and so it's very important to document everything. We have it in the books, but now we have it in the scientific articles. These are volunteers and our archaeologists, geologists, working in the tunnels, discovering articles, some of them. This is 1800 years, ancient Roman pieces, bases from the Middle Age and stuff like that. Now, why is this important? When you discover 3,300 artifacts from different cultural layers, what does that mean? It means it's been there for a very long time, used by people from different, civilizations. And you know what National Geographic is claiming? Somebody told me. Well, National Geographic was here 10, 15 years ago, and they said, Osmanagich is digging tunnels himself. So if I'm digging it myself, does it mean that I've been planting thousands of artifacts from different time periods? Before volunteers come, at different layers, and then I go home and they come, oh, look what you discovered.
That's a major achievement.
Of course. if I dig all those tunnels, well, it was actually, let me tell you, 3 phases. In the first phase, I dug all those tunnels, 100 kilometers, 60 miles. That was the first, different levels. Second one, I decided to close all of them. So I brought millions of tons of materials, I filled all the tunnels, and I made hundreds of dry walls. It was not easy, but I made it. And then the third phase, I said, hey guys, we have tunnels, come, and let's try, to clean them. So this is what we're doing right now.
But Sam,
It was not easy.
You showed me yesterday evidence that you were terraforming right here. The parking lot.
The parking lot, yes. So, if I done all of that, then I'm a construction genius. I cannot go wrong. Either I'm a construction genius, or this is the biggest discovery. So we are fine. This is exciting thing. Stalagmites. On the ceiling you have stalactites, water dropping, and then from the floor you have stalagmites growing. It takes some time for the surface to get prepared, because in the beginning this water is going left and right, but with the time it forms a little hole, you have some dust, some other particles, materials, and then stalagmites starts forming and it grows. So we can see some stalagmites. The good thing about them, you can determine the date of the stalagmites through both methods, radiocarbon and uranium-thorium analysis. Now here, what we can see here is a drywall. Drywall was obviously made by somebody, by intelligent hands. Well, water does not make walls, somebody made it. And then from the ceiling, a piece of ceiling collapsed. You see this plate here? It was all over this drywall. So when we came here, it was plate on the top, and since it was rather narrow, we decided to cut this plate. So, we cut it, remove it, and then we realized that there was a wall below the plate, meaning the wall is older. Somebody built the wall before this plate collapsed from the ceiling, and on the top of this plate we discovered stalagmites, meaning they are the youngest. They formed later, once the plate was there. So we took those stalagmites from the plate, which can give us a minimum age of the drywall below. We found several stalagmites, smaller, bigger. Some of the stalagmites, 3,500 years, 2,500 years, 3,800, 3,000, 26,200 years. The biggest stalagmite, 26,000. 10,600. 26,000 years, meaning the drywall is older. But some people are saying, oh, this is radiocarbon, dating, it's not so precise, deeper you go in the past, the error is bigger, 5%, 10%, 20%, even with 20%. So it is 20 or 30,000 years. We said, fine. Let's do another analysis, a little bit more precise. It's called uranium-thorium analysis. Uranium-thorium analysis. We found 2 more stalagmites, the age 19,000 plus minus 1,000, 15,000 plus minus 1,000. Anyway you look, we can see consistent dates. We can see 15, 20, 25, 30,000 years. If you have stalagmites, what does that mean? It means that you had hollow space. You have to have stalactites, you have to have water dropping, you have to have hollow space or the tunnel and the stalagmites growing from the bottom. So, in any way, we are arriving to our 30,000 years, the tunnels, the walls, the pyramids, over 30,000 years. Now, we have a book called Ravne 3 Tunnels, the oldest structure of the world. It can be purchased in our souvenir shop. We have just one official souvenir shop. That's the one closest to the tunnels, the biggest one. The rest of it that you can see, we are supporting local businesses. We have about 35, 40 businesses that we support. We rent them the space, and they sell whatever they sell. They sell crystals, they sell textile, they sell food, but there is only one official foundation's sewing shop, and we sell the books, we sell the water, we sell different stuff, which helps us to support our activities. And I did not end up with the book, but with the new article. And just a couple of hours ago, while I went to the break home between 4 and 5 o'clock, I received a note from Journal of Interdisciplinary History and Human Societies that they accepted my article titled, "After the peer review process, Europe's oldest subterranean structure, new chronological and structural insights from dry stone wall in the Planetary tunnel complex Visoko," has been qualified to be published of Journal of History. Huh?
What did you write today?
Huh?
What did you write today?
Let's go to the break. So, let me do something.
Let's have a quick break now. Surprise us, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just behind the lights.
Oh, this is you, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Rame 4 tunnels discovered in 2019. Dry walls, Rame 3, Rame 4, Rame 6. Dry walls. Usually they block, they block us from going towards the Sun Pyramid, going south. That's what they do. They don't want us to go towards the pyramid. And since we have new phenomenon, dry walls, a new class of subterranean dry stone structures. Because we have dry walls in the Mediterranean area, but they are above the surface. Dry walls are very often in Italy, in Croatia, different countries. But now I'm proposing a new class of dry stone walls. Subterranean. These are the only dry walls in the Mediterranean which are under the ground. And this was published very 19. This is published tomorrow. Yes. So now listen to the abstract. Dry stone construction is a globally recognized architectural technique dating back to the Neolithic times. Now here we are going to Paleolithic times. While surface level dry stone features have been extensively studied throughout the Mediterranean and Central Europe, subterranean dry stone structures built entirely from river pebbles, this is what we have, are exceptionally rare. There are none, just here. Rame 3, Rame 4, Rame 6, and so on. So this is the first formal typological, geological, and archaeological study of these walls. Rame 5 tunnels, huge. Rame 5, Rame 6. Now, how the discoveries happen? This hill here, which we call the bell tower, we could see the conglomerate blocks were sticking out. We have conglomerate block at the entrance of the tunnel, Rame tunnels. We have another one here, the Rame 3, Rame 4. We discovered one here on this hill. And our archaeologist last year, 2 years ago, Osmanagich, now she wanted to see if there is something below this block. So we started digging. There is a small hole here. This one right here. This is the conglomerate block. First we tried over there, above, nothing. Just regular stratigraphy. But below, we realized there was a hollow space. Dig in. Hole was getting bigger. So finally we got in and we discovered the tunnels. With the dry walls, open section 65 meters. Pristine, untouched for a very long time. And this summer, this is going to be our next subject of archaeological research. So starting probably next month, July, we're going to be working there, documenting everything what we discovered with our volunteers, archaeologists, engineers, and so on. This is how the discoveries happen here. tribal hill. She discovered it, Evelina is here. And look who helped us discover it. Volunteers from high schools. These people they are from international high school here in Mostar, in Herzegovina. They came, to study for a year, and their professor brought them here to volunteer for 1 week. And they helped us to make such a significant discovery. They're gonna remember this for life. Young people, 16, 17 years old.
Slave labor.
Tunnels.
New school education.
Now, this is the mega ceramic block K2. You see how, maybe you don't see that when you are there, but you see how it's sitting on the support? If it is on support, it means somebody placed it there. If somebody placed it there, we have intelligent hand involved. Georadar, small georadar instruments, told us there are 3 minerals, quartz crystal. The biggest one right here, second one, the third one. Those of you who are in there with the Sunny might remember the Sunny would go to the big one, sometimes to the second one or the third one, because the animals, dogs, they feel the energies. They automatically go to strongest source of energy and always positive energy, dogs. That's why Sunny was my best assistant ever. Now, we started measuring using scientific instruments. We measure, among other things, original Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hertz. Why is that important? Our planet resonates at 7.83. When we got born, we are born at 7.3. When we think, if somebody is still doing that, when we think at 7.83 Hertz. So, the same frequency of the planet and our brain, we are in balance. We go to the big cities, you go to Sarajevo, 12 Hertz. You go to Munich, 15 Hertz. You go to New York, 18 Hertz. Why? Because of our bad technology. Computers, laptops, tablets, microwaves, TVs, mobile phones, satellite dishes, American Project HARP. Bad technology. Frequency is going up. But this is not good for us. You go to the big city. You have different frequencies. What happens? It creates stress. We are in disbalance. And stress has become the leading cause of most diseases. 75% of diseases. Sugar, pressure, and so on. You go to the tunnels, 7.83. And that's the reason why people feel in the tunnels like they are at home. You go to the pyramids, 7.83. And you can measure it. Now, we scan this block, and we can see a lot of blue color or indigo color. Why is that important? Now, you know that we can see those the frequencies of 7 colors. The lowest frequency is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, purple. Indigo is high frequency. This is spiritual frequency. That's why it's ideal place. Go there, relax, meditate, experience the true spirituality, connect with the world beyond our physical reality. This is what the spirituality is. When I was younger, when he was younger, they are teaching us in schools that spirituality, this is religion. Religion is another thing, I respect it. Faith is another thing. Spirituality, development of spiritual senses, so you can sense the world beyond the physical reality. Physical is based on our 5 physical senses. We can see, we can hear, we can touch, we can smell, we can taste. But our physical senses are very, very, very limited. What we can see, we see those 7 colors. They are 0.7% of all color frequencies around us. We don't see 99.3% of what's happening around us. Cats, they see a little bit more. They can see souls, or ghosts, they can see orbs, they can see extraterrestrials, they can see whatever they can see. We cannot. So we are actually blind. What we can hear is called sound, 20 Hertz to 20 kilohertz. Everything above 20 kilohertz is called ultrasound. Everything below 20 hertz is called infrasound. What we hear is less than 1% of the sounds. We are deaf and blind, even though we have our physical senses. Imagine that we start developing some of our 30 spiritual senses. We could sense much more. We could sense the freedom. If we can, for example, feel the energies, like people who have the gift to feel the bioenergy, we could manipulate with energy fields or auric field of other people. We see, oh, they need healing. You give them some of your energies, feeling the energy. That's why when we took you today with our guides to the tunnels, our guides ask you, open your hands. Can you feel something? Of course you can. Some people can, some people cannot, but with the practice, of course you can. Even Michael could feel after a while. As he confessed that.
As the world's most insensitive bastard.
Imagine, if he can feel, if he can. Well, feeling the energy. Imagine seeing the energy. You know, if you can see the energies, every color means something. The red color, not very good. If you have a lot of red, it means that you are either depressed or you are aggressive. There is a disbalance. Something is wrong with you. And you know, we live in a civilization which is based on what we say. And we can say anything. We can say, you know what? I'm the smartest guy on earth. I'm the most intelligent. And I'm also the beautiful, and I'm the modest guy at the same time. We can say anything. Take it or leave it. But if you can see the energies, I see a lot of red. Wow, something's wrong with this guy. I don't care what he says. We see green, blue, sharing, love, healing. Oh, this is a good guy to be with. Come, come, you are my new friend. We see white. Wow, this guy is wise. He meditates. Let me learn something from him. So if we could see the energy, our world would be changed. If we could see the colors, if we could move objects with the power of our mind, telekinesis, spiritual sense. You know, the original people of the land, in the US, in Australia, not aboriginal, not ab-original, English, no. They are original people of the land. Or in America, for 2 months there is no rain. Okay, let's go, let's do dance for the rain. I was at the one, you know, in Arizona, Nevada, they dance for the rain, and the rain comes. In Australia, they have mantras. They invite rain, and the rain comes. The power of intention, this is, you know, what we have. Nobody's teaching us no more to develop those senses. Telepathy. We have ability to telepathically, you know, communicate. Nobody's teaching us to develop that since early age. Sometimes we know that we are telepathic. If Valery comes home 3 o'clock in the morning, he's half drunk, his girlfriend is waiting, Valery is just looking at her. She doesn't need to say anything. He knows exactly what she thinks. So sometimes we are telepathic, sometimes. People are doing surgery on us. We are laying on the, you know, in hospital on the table. Very complex surgery. For 5 minutes, our heart stops beating. What's happening there? Our soul is going out of the body. So now we are close to the ceiling, we are looking down. We see our lifeless body. We see doctors, we hear medical nurses, they talk, they discuss, they laugh, Then I'm thinking, hey, who am I? My body is there, but I'm still thinking. I have intelligence. Wow, I'm a soul. That's the answer to the question, who really am I? I'm a soul. I have an intelligence. And I can hear, I can see, I have my senses. I can move. Can I move to the next room and see what's going on there? The next moment, you went to the wall. Wow, there's another surgery there. Okay, let me go to the parking lot. Wow, I'm in the parking lot. Oh, why don't I go and see if Cleopatra was the most beautiful woman of all times? Next moment, I'm 2,000 years back, Cleopatra the 6th. She had the best makeup in the world. So then we realize that we can move through space and time, that we have no limits. No limits, that's the definition of the freedom. And we realize we are actually free. And then we realize that we don't die with that body. Why should we fear if we don't die? They teach us in this society that the origin of all fears is fear of death. And with that one, all others are coming. Fear of losing material stuff, losing the loans, losing the homes, losing the cars, losing the savings accounts, losing the wives. So we realize no need to fear anything. That's true spirituality. So while we are thinking, wow, I discovered a whole new world, but next moment, the surgery is over, pop, pop, I'm back into my body. But I remember that there is no need for fear no more. Monday comes, I go back to my office. The boss started yelling, as he always does on Mondays because he's nervous. And you always obey, you listen. But this time is different. You tell him, hey, do not yell at me no more. Now he's surprised. I'm going to fire you. No. I'm going to quit. I'm going to find another job. I don't want to fear no more in my life. That's what the true spirituality is about. Being aware of the world beyond physical reality. Spirituality. Pyramid energy helps us to develop spiritual senses. How many people who deal with the bioenergy came here telling me my powers are 20 times stronger than I'm in the tunnels? Spirituality. Block K1, lot of red color. Low frequency, but hey, it penetrates our body, hitting our blood circulation. The blood flows better. It helps us in a healing process. Now we are coming to the new aspect, of course, which was described in the new article, Acta Scientific Medical Sciences. You know, we've been saying for 20 years, after thousands of healing in the tunnels, you know, we are not in the healing business, we don't do healing treatments, we don't give medical guarantees. But hey, not anymore. It has become part of the science. Ravnet tunnels is a regenerated environment, scientific measurements, and human testimonials. So we are describing what's been happening here after hundreds upon hundreds of cases.
I love regenerative environment. In other words, a health center.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you are not convinced, here's another one. Another journal approached me, Archives of Epidemiology and Public Health Research. I said, what do they want from me? I'm in the pyramid business. But then I'm thinking, hey, epidemiology, remember Corona Project 2020-2022. Yes, I'm going to do the article. At that time, I claimed here in Bosnia on our media and in the region that Ravnet tunnels are the safest place on the planet because of negative ions. They were attacking me, fact-checking. They were sending letters to World Health Organization. They're saying, this guy Osmanagich is claiming it's safe, it's negative ions, and PR person from there gave official response. They're saying, no, it's not scientifically proven. Hello, it is scientifically proven now. Public health and epidemiological implications of ionized air. Negative air ions and their role in microbial reduction. No viruses, no bacteria, no fungi. Evidence from the Ravnet Tunnel Complex in Bosnia, and it was published in proper journal. archives of epidemiology and public health.
This is fantastic. Tomorrow, right?
This girl from Czech Republic, from Slovakia, she had the problems with her lung capacity. She was using only 47% of the lung. She went to different therapies, pharmaceutical mafia supplying her with the pills, this and that. Nothing was helping her. So she came here to Ravni Tunnels, 10 days, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, 1 hour in the morning. After 10 days, she went back to Bratislava. She got measured. Now she was using 84%. She came back in September of that year. This picture is in front of the tunnels. She was volunteering with us. Before that, she could not do 3 stairs. Lung capacity very low. Here, she was pushing the wheelbarrows all day long. Ravni tunnels, regenerative environment. People from Prague, medical nurse, with 10 guys, they were measuring 20 different parameters. This is the blood pressure. This is the sugar in the blood, drop of the blood. Before entering, in Europe we have different methods. So in Europe, 3 to 6 normal, 6 to 10 risky, above 10 diabetes. This guy, Jirka, 7.8 before. It was a little bit risky. 5.1, normal level. The doctors can argue, yeah, but he was walking and the sugar tends to drop after walk. Yeah, okay. How about Carol? 10.5 before, almost diabetes. He came back, 5.7. Yeah, but maybe he was running. All right. How about this guy? 20, 22. Diabetes. Bad. People die with such a high, glucose in the blood. First entrance.
So it's interesting, it seems to come down to around 5.2 or 5.6.
That's normal. 3 to 6.
Yeah.
3 to 6. Mine is 4.2, for example. So, there is no, pill, there is no drug, there is no, experimental, genetical, pharmaceutical product that can reduce.
So how did you jump over the tunnels to be able to do this?
It was not easy. I had to infuse special materials. Too complicated.
Oxygen.
When we think how long it's gonna last, look at this. First day, second day, third day, fourth day, 2 weeks. Well, he went back to Prague after this. But also he went back to the bad habits. Food that he eats, stressful environment. Now, this is a chance after the tunnels to change your life for the better. So you need to think, when you go back home, what I've been doing wrong? Let me change this now, not tomorrow, not after the first of the year, now. You change that, and then this makes sense.
Very strict.
This girl from Turkey, she would have very high blood pressure, 220 over 135. Women are aware what does that mean. Migraines and, Saturday comes, they come to us, bedroom, we are ready. I got a headache. We, men, we do not understand the migraines and the high blood pressure. So she's been coming to the tunnels since 2014-15, and twice a year from Istanbul, Sarajevo, 4 flights a day. And since then, her blood pressure never goes higher than 140 over 90. But she has to come a couple of times a year, and this is what we call tourism.
Very good. Very good.
Very, very good.
You hook them in and you keep them there. You like big pharma, alternative.
Had a
big
health
pharma.
issue. You said that you had a high blood pressure, hypertension issue, and that you had a prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer.
Can you
the guy
tell
from
us
Austria.
something? What did help you to improve your symptoms?
I think my help is going inside the tunnels.
Going inside the tunnels.
And the last 2 months drinking the water from the
Last 2 months drinking the water from the tunnels.
With a small pyramid water with 1 liter
Take small
normal
bottle,
water in a
mixed
glass
with
bottle.
20 liters of regular water.
24 hours in the fridge, and then I drink 1 liter or a half liter all day.
1 liter.
And after 2 months, I have no tumor. It's unbelievable. And it's unbelievable. And the doctor in Vienna is one of the best urologen from Vienna. He works in the hospitality and private. And he said he cannot say why it's gone, the tumor.
Yeah.
So he said,
Why
he said 1 month, after 1 month.
1 month he was coming to the tunnels twice a day, and for a couple of months he was drinking pyramid water. The tumor was gone. And he went to the best urologist, he said.
You lost your visual.
Had a healthy.
So our health is not only the physical health. We have 7 energy fields around us. The first one is the most dense. It's called auric field. We have Professor Korotkov's equipment here for 10 years now, and our Sanela, she's been doing scanning people for last 10 years. More than 14,000 people, most of them before and after the tunnels. Now this is a typical case of a person, this is a woman, Bosnian living in Austria, before the tunnels. Why the pieces of auric field is missing? Because of the stress. It affects our body, it affects our protective shield around us. Energy level 23 joules, balance 89%, before the tunnels. After 1 hour, look at the change. Protective shield, full energy from 23 to 58. When you can measure, extremely important, you can scientifically prove. Balance from 89 to 100, balance of left and right sides. And then chakras. Now this person has excellent chakras. They are very close to be balanced. Almost nobody is perfectly balanced. You have, for that you have to meditate all day long. But this person is real good. Oh, by the way, this is my wife, Sabine. The only problem is they are rather close. After the tunnels, look, 4, 5 times bigger, more open. So energy flows better in our body, affecting all other bodies, physical, intellectual, emotional, even spiritual. Chakras value. Before, after, before, after, before, after, for different chakras. Before, after. Emotional pressure. Before, stress, after. Our friend from Italy, he was volunteering one season. He brought an electronic microscope. He was taking the blood samples before the tunnels and after the tunnels. So he was, through the live blood test, he was checking red and white blood cells. So, this is an example of pathological blood. Something's wrong here. How do we know that? These are the red cells. If they are circular, they are fine. If they are not circular, there is a problem. There is a problem. If they are one on the top of each other, there is a problem. So there is a pathological process here. Before the tunnels. After the tunnels, look, all of them perfectly circular. They are not on the top of each other. Plus, they leave enough room for those white dots. These are white blood cells who fight intruders, who fight poisons, like this guy here, and they're going to get it out through the liver, out of the body. So, coming to the tunnels helps to improve your blood picture. Why is this happening? Well, we always measure. We are in the scientific realm. We are now exposed to the cosmic radiations, if you believe that we are a planet. So, the cosmic radiation coming our ways, some of them are harmful, and our body cells are fighting those enemies. We go to the tunnels 20 meters below the ground, no harmful cosmic radiations, no enemies. Sometimes we walk the streets and we're not even aware that the natural radioactivity is coming from underground, attacking our body. So our poor body cells fighting enemies from above, from below, 24 hours a day, every day. In the tunnels, we measure radioactivity regularly. This is the old measurements from 15 years ago. But they have those big equipment, so we would say, oh, this is something real scientific. Today, guided Miller counters are like this. But anyway, they came from university. The values are so low that basically there are no radioactivity in the tunnels. No enemies to our body. No geopathogenic radiations coming from underground water, because all those bad radiations have been neutralized with those ceramic blocks. These people are very smart. In the tunnels, no signal for the mobile phones. We can't live without mobile phones. But every time you talk on the phone, 15 minutes, 150,000 of our brain cells are burned. 150,000. We keep it in our hands, our hand gets hot, our ears are all red, brain cells gone. Well, in Bosnia, we have this guy, Mujo, he would say, you know what, I have 5 billion brain cells, so 150,000, I don't care. But 150,000 in the morning, 100,000 10 o'clock, 200,000 at noon, today 1 million, tomorrow another million, and then we notice that we process information slower. We are not getting any more intelligent, on the contrary. In the tunnels, no signal for the mobile phones, for the cell phones. In the tunnels, no signal for the Wi-Fi. No 3G, no 4G, no 5G. Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi. By the way, Brisbane. Somebody's here from Brisbane? Yes, no? Somebody mentioned Brisbane.
Yeah.
I made this photo like 4 years ago. Downtown, 200 those towers. At that time, 4 years ago. 5G, bad. But anyway, no harmful radiations in the tunnels. And only good energy properties. We measure the original Schumann resonance, and we measure some other values. Now, this engineer from Belgrade, Goran Samukovic, this is what he measured. He measured electromagnetic field on the moon pyramid, and then he converted this electromagnetism to the sound, the same frequency of the sound. So let's see how the pyramid of the moon speaks.
I like it.
This would be a great sound effect for sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
People go in pieces.
Schumann resonance, 0, 10, 7.83. It's been measured in the tunnels. Outside, not anymore. So we use different instruments to measure different energy properties. The best electromagnetic field, the best Schumann resonance, the best orgone energy level, and the highest level of negative ions together with Zimbabwe.
Yes.
So what we did measure, on the mountains, 1,000 to 2,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter. Mountains, very good for us. Cities, 100. Our homes, just 50. Tunnels, 20 to 60,000. Last February, 340,000 highest ever on the planet. Everything above 5,000 is a healing concentration. 340,000. This is the safest and the healthiest place on the planet. So our conclusion, purpose number 2 for the pyramid energy, is to protect what is the most precious to us, our health. Isn't it logical? Communication, health. So, since we've been measuring all these values for the last 15 years, once you have data, then you can make scientific article. So we have proven that those values are the highest on the planet. Journal of Advanced Artificial Intelligence, Engineering and Technology. The title, Environmental Ionization in Enclosed Geospheres, which should be our tunnels. Comparative study of global and local measurements. I've been measuring it in South Africa or Zimbabwe or Germany or Egypt or different countries. I compared it. So now people starting, doing citations on my articles. Because these are studies. Now with my friend Konstantin Korotkov, some of you know him very well. This was actually my first scientific article. This was really rather simple. He did like 4 pages. My articles are 20 to 25, with the supplements about 50 or 60 pages. They are really big articles. And we did prove that pyramids in Bosnia, they influence environment in very beneficial way. With his influence. For those of you who don't know this lady, she is 94 years old. And one day she came here to the tunnels and she saw me. She said, hey, I heard that the tunnels are good. I said, well, yes, people are saying that they are really good. Are they going to help me? I said, why don't you go inside and then you're going to see. So she went and spent about 1 hour and then she came back. But remember, I already said no guarantees. Water, we are finding tunnels with the water, crystal clear and clean water. We did analysis compared to our city water. The water from the tunnels, clean. Now we send samples from city water from Visoko and pyramid water to late Dr. Masaru Emoto, who became very popular after he started, freezing different samples of the water, taking photos through electronic microscopes. This is the tap water from New York City. No foam whatsoever. This is the water from Fujiwara Dam in Japan, ugly. This is the water from Lake Biwa in Japan, contaminated, even though it looks blue and nice. It's contaminated, ugly. This is the Visoko water, the city water, chlorinated. Particles of heavy metals, microplastic, energetically dead. And this is the pyramid water. We sent it by plane 10 years ago. At that time we could still ship the water containers to other countries. Right now you cannot, because if you come with the water, liquid, terrorists. But anyway, you see how we have hexagonal structure, the most wonderful crystal-like structure. You see this water, even though it went through, all the Röntgen machines at the Sarajevo airport, Frankfurt airport, Tokyo airport, it still kept its beautiful structure. We are what we drink. This is structured water. This is happy water. This is high vibrating water. They don't teach us in schools about high vibrations. Our project, it is not about the archaeology. Our project is exactly what Tesla said. You want to find out the secrets of the universe, you need to view them through the energy, frequency, vibrations. Our project is about the energy. Pyramids amplify natural energy sources, creating very specific frequencies that affect our vibrational level. Vibrational level of all 4 kingdoms, Mineral kingdoms. That's why we have so many stones from the tunnels here over the water. Plant kingdom. These couple of guys know how the plants grow at my place, just above underground tunnels. Animal kingdom and human kingdom. What does Wikipedia say about our project? Bosnian pyramids are pseudo-archaeological claim, not even project, claim. Like somebody is claiming something. Promoted by author, this gentleman right here, that the cluster of natural hills in central Bosnia are largest human-made ancient pyramids. I never use the term human-made, but that's okay. I say intelligent hands. But geologists, archaeologists, scientists concluded after analysis that those hills are natural formations. Okay, let's. Now, I wrote an article because Wikipedia is based for AI, for ChatGPT and all others. So I was discussing with ChatGPT about Bosnian pyramids and proving that they are totally wrong when it comes to the Bosnian pyramids. We don't have time for that. And this one is from when? Okay, June 6th, right? This year. But let's hear those scientists. Dr. Zahi Havas never came to Bosnia. We have invited him 3 times. Never came here.
He's a lovely guy.
Yes. He said, criticized Osmanagich. He said that this guy Osmanagich is hallucinating, of course. No one can say that these stones were transported by human beings, since each weighs approximately 40 tons. He's right about 40 tons. They're not stones, they are blocks. So, Proto-Bosnians could not move 40 tons, and Proto-Egyptians could move 200 tons, or obelisks 370 tons, or unfinished obelisk in Aswan 1,250 tons. Actually, in Bosnia, if you tell the guy, please take this block over there, you don't tell him how heavy it is, he's gonna do it. If you tell him it's 5 tons, forget about it. Director of the Council of British Archaeology, Dr. Mike Hayward, and Professor Hermann Parzinger of German Archaeological Institute, never came to Bosnia. They claim Osmanagich is dumping the world with his claims of pyramids in Bosnia. This pyramid scheme is a cruel hoax on unsuspecting public. So, the public did not expect anything. And one day I show up, and this unsuspecting public was able to hear me. Hey, there are pyramids in Bosnia. That was such a huge shock. So they're describing this particular event.
I feel violated.
Never came to Bosnia. Robert Schock, he did come to Bosnia at the very, very early stage without a single analysis, without one test sampling, without radiocarbon, without energy measurement, without anything. He came, he said, this is all natural. And he claimed today, 20 years later, with no knowledge about this project, that he's been like utmost, expert in Bosnian pyramids. There is nothing there.
Well, he was
Is
here
it real science? He was here.
Recently?
And he said,
20 years ago.
He said, I started the project because of my future engagement in politics. This was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Well, guess what? I've been here for 20 years. Came back from the US. I left good business, good money. I came here to fight with the guys who don't understand nothing, proving what we have here. And when at one time American ambassador in Bosnia, he came to me and said, hey, you are the most popular guy in Bosnia. Why don't you go to for the presidency? I said, listen, did not come from US to be in politics, because I can help my country with the cultural heritage, protection, and discoveries. That's why I'm here for. And his desire to make money. Well, nothing wrong with the money. But guess what? I've been the biggest donor from day one. And that the project was a fiasco. Well, 20 years later, the most active archaeological site in the world. Thank you very much. Andrew Collins, never been here. I'm extremely skeptical. David Hatcher, not convinced. And the most intelligent of them all, Graham Hancock, I do not find this site to be good evidence for a lost civilization. Well, when I think about it, maybe he's right. This is not lost civilization no more.
It's found.
It's here. We found it. Not lost anymore. Lost and found.
Yeah.
This guy is, he's epic. Dr. Brian Stewart, University of Michigan, never been here. There are very warning reports that he and his team have essentially sculpted the sides of these natural hills into something they think resembles pyramids. Stupid Bosnians, they don't even know how the pyramid looks like. And maybe he's right also. One dark evening, after midnight, I got my crew of volunteers and we went to sculpt this huge hill. So we were sculpting 4 sides into triangular faces with obvious corners. We had a couple of geodesists with us, so we got perfect orientation. And just before the sunrise, we decided to plant about 115 million concrete blocks, and on top of it, trees. And next morning, when people opened their eyes, voila! The pyramid was there. Not 1, but 6. Perfect Fibonacci spirals.
Just like the ancients with hammers and chisels.
Yes. So I said, okay, let me get all these, statements which we collected over the years, and we put them in the science, which went to the journal called Political Science International, and the article was titled Politicized Archaeology and Cultural Gatekeeping. People like Zahi, it doesn't matter if they are on official or independent side. The case of the Bosnian Pyramids. Investigating the phenomenon of politicized archaeology where institutional loyalty, ideological orthodoxy, and cultural gatekeeping override empirical inquiry. This is what we do.
That's so well
Through
worded.
documented examples and statistical modeling, including Monte Carlo simulation, we examine the improbability that some of the experts who come here, that it is by a chance. And look at this. In the last 15 years, we have held 7 international scientific conferences with 110 experts from different fields. And here you can see some of them. Valery, and JJ, and Desiree, and Michael. But we had some others. Korotkov, we had some on official, we had some on independent side. So we were asking, what is the odd? Not that all 110 gives positive support, but just some of them, 45 of them. Oh, I'm sorry, this is another. No, the simulation is another. I'll come to that one. So we're asking, what is the odd that this project will persist for 15 years with all this institutional opposition coming from Ministry of Culture, from Federal Institute for Cultural Heritage, for State Commission for Protection of National Monuments, from all the museums, from local to the biggest one in Bosnia, from the media, from all of them. What are the chances that we are going to survive 15 years? It's been 20 years now. What are the odds? The answer was 0. We have survived. We have survived because we got the vision, we got the enthusiasm, and we do follow our dreams.
Yeah.
Egyptologist, triple PhD in archaeology and Egyptology, Dr. Nabil Selim. He was here 3 times. He wrote the report. He said, Egyptian pyramid is the most magnificent, the Bosnian pyramid, the biggest, because it satisfies the requirements for the pyramids. Professor Kavroshkin, from Russia, Oleg Aroshkin, geophysicist, another geophysicist, Vladislav Tsiplakov, in 3 years doing measurements with geoelectrical equipment, proving that the pyramids are artificial structures. Paul Van Ward, United States, one of the most interesting discoveries in archaeology. Professor Ezra Zubrov, Buffalo State University, archaeologist. You need to find out who built the pyramids, when they were built. Late Dr. Paula Violette, Bosnian pyramids are the biggest discovery in archaeology. He's been here for 6 times. Professor Korotkov, Bosnian pyramid discovery equals discovery of the Mayan pyramids. We heard these 3-4 guys also. So, the question was, what are the odds that at least 45 scientists are going to support us? So, 45 or more independent experts would support the legitimacy of the Bosnian Pyramid Complex, purely by chance. So, the probability that 45 will support this, if there was no evidence, was approximately 0.0000%. So you have to have, obviously, the evidence. Volunteers. Today we had like 10 volunteers with us. In the last 15 years, we had more than 4,000 of them. They come, we show them archaeological locations, and next day they got tools to work. How do you define that? The framework. So, but they are helping us. They are part of the discovery, and they come year after year. Marie Sophie. So, wonderful people. They are helping us uncover the oldest, best quality concrete. 2008, 10,000 visitors. 2018, 40,000. 50,000. 2023, 195. Last year, 245,000. Quarter million. Bosnian pyramids against all odds. What was the probability that without institutional support, without the money, financial means, help from the government, from the museums, from the local archaeologists and so on, you are going to survive and attract so many people over the years? We ran Monte Carlo simulation on, I guess, 10,000 different scenarios, and we took 3 different cases. The first one, the project is run by the archaeologist, someone from academia, with no other skills. He has the knowledge, but he does not have organizational skills, does not know money, administration, blah, blah, blah. The probability that such person would attract 250,000 people in 20 years is 0%. He said, fine. Okay, let's see if we have a good, capable manager who understands the money, who knows how to organize the business. What is the probability that he's gonna, but he does not know the field. Probability was 0.28%, less than 1%, almost 0. But if the person combines those 2 skills, he knows pyramids, he travels the world, he knows people, he has all these qualifications. What is the probability? 67%. So Monte Carlo is saying yes, there is a chance to do that. But you have to combine all these skills. And when I think about my life, I've been having 2 careers all my life. One is, research and my PhDs and the pyramids and the books and the science. But the other one is business. I've been running businesses in Yugoslavia, in America. This is where I learned how to run a business. And through the business, I've been supporting my research. I'm independent financially. It means I can say what I mean. And through the business, I've been supporting this project. And that's the reason why this project was doomed to success. Now, 10 years ago, this was a swamp. We're going to be doing the tour tomorrow and the day after. And today, we transformed it into the most beautiful park in Europe, the stress-free oasis. Every year, 100 to 150 schools come here with tens of thousands of kids from kindergarten, elementary, high schools, from the whole Bosnia, and last couple of years from Serbia and Croatia. They are coming to Pab for the excursion. They have a place which is totally secure, no traffic, no contamination. Parking is for free. All the facilities are for free. The toilets here, they are for free. They enjoy their life.
Water is free.
Water is free. We have exactly 3 underground wells here. The water is free, and this is not contaminated, poisoned city water. Music concerts, book promotions, children playgrounds. NBA stars we bring the kids from the foster homes with no parents for one day. We replace what they need the most in their life, the parental love. We are helping local community, 40 businesses right here, 250 accommodation places in Visoko. 20 years ago, 0. You are staying in this, 5-star hotel. You know when they would open the hotel if it was not for us? Never. Let's run Monte Carlo simulation. Concerts are for free. You're going to be here Friday and Saturday. I mean, these regional superstars, they cost money, 10,000 euros, $10,000, plus Securitas, plus equipment and sound and lights, 15,000. I pay that. I don't charge people. They come to a place where we promote freedom. We want them to feel free. More concerts.
I just want you to know that as of next week, there'll be 1 pillar less.
Yes, South Africa. Punctual circles. Marko Pogačnik. This one looks like JJ from like 20 years ago. Now, we are very close to the end, but I want to show you something. We did the documentary with a couple of guys here.
What is the miracle in Bosnia? The transformation of neglected, muddy, swampy land into one of the most beautiful parks in Europe. The archaeological discoveries, sports, culture, art, labyrinths of love and energy, more than 60 different installations. Very exciting.
Together, Miracle in the Heart of Bosnia, and they apply to different festivals. And guess what? 70 minutes, a full-length feature documentary. We won Naples, San Diego, Vancouver International Film Festival, Brisbane Film Festival, Paris, London, Berlin, 20 awards, 20. This is the most awarded documentary in the region ever.
Wow.
Somebody asked about this lecture. Most of it is in the book My Story, or those of you who wants to read a little bit more, set of 7 books, very cheap, 100 euros. This one is 20 euros, and you have the rest of my books in the souvenir shop. Now, I mentioned all these, scientific articles. They are on my new scientific website, drsamosmanagich.com. drsamosmanagich.com. Very easy to remember. So you have right now 29 scientific articles to read completely. And
Is there a test in the
I'm
morning?
going to start tonight.
if I can write it, you can read it.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see, through all these different aspects, including sport, we send different messages to the region and to the world. When we opened the tennis court 3 years ago, Novak Djokovic, the best tennis player ever, came with some other excellent players from Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia. 2,500 people, 75 media from all over the world, Associated Press, Reuters, France Press, Chinese Xinhua. For the first time from the Bosnia, the news were not about the war, about the criminals, about the corruption. They were about the young people and the tourism and the tennis and the sport and the brighter future. My friendship with Novak, he's from Serbia, born there. I'm here from Bosnia. In the last few decades, tension between our regions and countries and our people, our brothers. The last 150 years, people have been fighting each other. And we think that we are enemies to each other. We are saying here, no, we are brothers. We have to stop this spiral of violence and evil. We know that the third parties are behind the curtain, behind the veil, who are pushing us against each other for 2,000 years, from ancient Rome on. Here in the park we are saying, this is the time to stop this. And there are other ways: sincerity, friendship, cooperation, and peace. So that's why our message is so powerful. 20 years ago, we started as a purely archaeological project. Then we expanded to the scientific aspects, energy aspects, and spiritual aspects, and healing aspects, and cultural aspects, and festivals, and art, and sports, and music, and concerts, and what we eat, what we drink, a new concept of future. Nowadays, what they offer us are new Western values, like from Ursula von der Pfizer. Transhumanism, biochip under our skin. Oh, it's very convenient. You just pay your bills, you open the door, and they turn us on and turn us off as they like. GMO trash, digital money and digital banks, so they can control us completely. You can buy a ticket in our green shop only by paying cash. Cash is freedom. They want to legalize pedophiles. They're saying, no, this is not a crime, it's just tendency, older, like. We are saying these are not our values. The future of humanity is in harmony among us and harmony with the nature. Thank you very much. What you heard is nothing. 2 days from now, Michael is going to go real deep. All right, thanks a lot. For tomorrow, for our conference group. Tomorrow,